Okay. New game.
They thought ending the world would end the war. That much was passed down. Everything else has been lost. When the bombs dropped, 80% of Australia's population was wiped out, just like that. Those who weren't immediately vaporised carried the radiation inland, poisoning all the pretty places they crawled to. The desert swallowed the rest. Despite it all, we survived. We rebuilt. We even formed strong enough allegiances to have wars of our own. But these wars were of disease, of hunger, of people who'd forgotten the sacrifices that have always been made beyond the steady glows of the cities that now choked with dust. Our great-grandparents made it. We will too. All it takes to thrive in this new world is guts, grit, and hard yakka.
Hard work.
That's where you come in.
Okay. You get to pick what your background is. Were you a hired gun, a surveyor, barter crew, or jackaroo? We will be going with gun. Being good at gun is nice. Pick what you look like and our name. We're Blobber. Now, the system has, rather than just, well, a lot of simpler games have just a good or evil-o-meter. This is a bit more complex in that we have this sort of compass where we may change between Machiavellian, utilitarian, humanist, and nihilist. And the way they introduce that is through a little questionnaire thing where you set your character's initial disposition. So, you've picked a job to escort a captured thief. Yeah, go celebrate, Sidian. Be proud. You just picked up a job to escort a captured thief. You get to talking and he tells you the sad tale of how he came to be captured. Sounds like he was not really the perp, and actually makes a good case for his innocence. He begs you to free him. Humanist, let him go free. You'll argue his case and can at least prevent an innocent man from enduring mob justice. There's always more jobs down the track. Nihilist, you've been paid to do a job and you plan to see it through. Despite his appeal and potential innocence, prioritize your reputation and ensure that you get paid. Utilitarian, promise that you'll plead his case. It doesn't serve anyone's interest to execute an innocent man, and it doesn't serve yours if he is in fact guilty. The best you can do is assure justice, and your rep stays intact. Or Machiavellian, tell him to make you an offer. You won't get the other half of your pay if you let him escape. Your reputation as a hired gun would also take a hit. We're going to go utilitarian. Plead his case, but hand him in. After a series of raids on caravans passing near your home, you put together a scousing party. You've caught the bandit leader and one of his raiders. The leader pleads for release, pledging to comply with your terms. Do you free him? Do you execute him on the spot? Better not make that kind of headache, which a bit tempting. Take him back to town to stand trial. It's not your call to make alone. Humanist, escort them far, far away, warning that if you catch them near your place ever again, they're dead meat. Or Machiavellian, tell him that you'll let one of them go, him or his raiders, and he gets to choose which one. Will he prioritize himself? But, no. So the game also gives you, if you focus entirely on one of these worldviews, you kind of get more, well, if your worldview aligns with... During some events, there will be text options relating to your worldview. And if you are well focused on one, you'll be able to do sort of stronger versions of those. So I'm going to be, for the most part, trying to focus on utilitarian where it doesn't get in the way of my own enjoying of the story. A nearby townstead has a new chief, and he's starting to flex his muscles. He sends an envoy with a threat: pay tribute or suffer his wrath. Yeah, let's up that game sound a bit. He clearly has the military strength to back it up. Do you pay? If he thinks he can take it, let him come. You're not scared of his threats. Machiavellian, negotiate with the envoy and escort him back. Conceal your top fighters and follow. In town, execute the envoy, displaying his head on a spike. Warn the others to surrender their chief or face the same fate. Humanist. Send scouts to see if they can if this man can enforce his demands. If he can, pay up. If not, send a mocking reply and dare him to come take it. G'day, bush camper. Or Utilitarian. Send an envoy in return and try to negotiate with the new chief. War hurts everyone, and maybe we can work out something of mutual benefit. Question. A child in the village has started showing symptoms of plague. The town has chosen to quarantine him and his family, yet you've caught him sneaking out to play with other children. What do you do? Let him off with a warning. If he's contagious, you're all infected now. If he's not, no harm done. Machiavellian. Rally some neighbours and evict the entire family from town. Make an example of their carelessness. Holy, that's a bit harsh. Send him back to his house under careful guard. Remind the family that they will be putting everyone at risk, and that they will have to leave town if they continue to do so. Humanist. Return him to his house and explain what happened. Make them see reason. These two basically overlap, but again, we're trying to be as utilitarian as we can for strengthening, getting the extra strong utilitarian text options later. You've been captured by people who've clearly gone mad, finding yourself in a pen along with a dew farmer that you've met before, a mercenary stripped of his weapons, and a terrified young family. The captors assemble a massive pyre, indicating their intent for some sort of twisted sacrifice. Noticing the guard's distraction, you're certain you can escape on your own, but every person you bring with you increases the chances you'll get caught. Try to get everyone out. Slip away on your own, the others will simply have to fend for themselves. Get the family out first, the others should handle themselves. We're trying to stay this. I actually prefer the save the family one, but whatever. It's not too much of a difference. You've discovered a cache of pre-apocalypse supplies in an abandoned farmhouse. You can't carry it all back on your own, so you enlist a few friends from town to help. When you return to the cache, you find a group of emaciated scavengers in the process of looting it. Do you let them take the supplies? Tell them you found it first and offer to split the takings. Better to get less than have to spill blood or get nothing. Okay, we accept our outcome. Now, build our character. No, I don't care about punt. Whew. So, it plays a bit like sort of an XCOM, in terms of you move your characters around and they have action points for taking shots and stuff in a more modern context. That's probably the one that most people would be familiar with. You're going to want... My feeling is, from what I played of the demo and whatnot, that pushing this to 6 so that you get 2 shots per round is a big deal. Even if it uses basically all your starting points. Other than that, we want to be good at shoot. Push that to 50 so that we get the unlock, like the bonus thing for when it reaches 50. The little bar, every point matters a little bit, but there are incremental upgrades to how good it is every 25. So at 1 this does 0.5, at 25 it does 0.5 plus 10%, at 50 it does 0.5 plus 15% to damage, and then 5% to critical hit chance, and so on and so on. So pushing it up to the increment numbers is important. And as for our last point, healing? Leadership? Healing. Okay, let's go.
You made it. Good. My name's Jake Anderson, and this is Bally Hall.
The sandy-haired man's face is sun-beaten and craggy, a testament to life lived in the bush.
Truth to tell, wasn't sure you'd make it. Between the wildlife and the attacks we'd seen, thought you might have met with some misadventure. Right. So the job's simple and the pay's good. You'll ride along to Kokeby with a couple of my scouts as security for Cole, the engineer fixing our radio. At Kokeby, you'll be meeting Mick, the mayor of Brookton, and escorting them both back home. It's an easy job, not expecting much trouble, but better safe than sorry, yeah? Let me introduce you around. Ella's over here, she's my second. My cousin too, her and her sister Mad, who's keeping watch from the crow's nest. Don't get on their bad.
New blood, eh, Jake?
The rangy woman's face is careworn and sunbeaten. She looks you up and down and raises an eyebrow.
Hired gun for the trip to Kokobi. Figured it couldn't hurt, the situation being what it is, hey? Gonna be with you, so maybe you can give the tour?
Pleasure to meet you. Is it? We'll see how you feel once you've spent some time with us. I'm sure her sparkling personality will shine through and you'll win a place in his heart in no time, Ella. That's me, noted heartbreaker and charmer. She's so deadpan, she almost seems serious. Fancy seeing the place? Meet the colourful locals? Sure. You've already met the boss. That leaves Jonesy, Dreamer, and Mad. May as well go say hi to Cole, seeing as you'll be
Let's go.
escorting him. Okay, and then it teaches you that you can move around with WSAD, you can scroll in and out. Let's go talk to the first person. Ella calls out as you near a young man elbow deep in a pile of electronics. Oi, Cole!
Who's this then?
The gangly young man hurriedly wipes his hands on his coveralls. When he sees you, his carrot orange hair flops over his eyes as he gives you a broad grin.
Cole, meet your new protector. We need extra muscle for our trip to Brookton, given Jake and Jones here headed down Alderside way to see why they're so quiet. Hired this one on to keep an eye on you.
That's bloody fantastic. I'm just about done with the repeater array here, and should be powering up with the solar panels in no time. Get your scouts back up and on the network in a jiffy, i.e. a moment. It'll all get sorted, under control, organized, once I can hit the market in Kokobi, and... She holds up a hand. Steady there, Christmas. Redhead, Ranger. Carrot Top. It was just making an introduction. One thing at a time. Can you raise Aldersnide yet? Oh, crikey. No, not yet. That's why I mentioned Kokobi. Your modulator's shot and you don't have a spare. Crikey. Shot broken. So, it's a good thing we're headed back. Once we get the modulator, everything else is golden. You'll be right as rain. Scouts don't have a working radio? Till we get the modulator sorted, no, basically. We could use carrier pigeons or mirrors, etc., etc. Catch you later.
We'll have plenty of time to chat on the way to Kokobi.
Okay. Hello, doggo. Uncover the map. And then let's talk to Mad. She gestures to the roof of the hall. Look up here, in the crow's nest. This is my sister, Mad. She'll be staying behind whilst the rest of us are off of the range later.
Mad, new hired gun. Going to be coming with Mishti and me to Kokobi.
The woman in the watchtower wears drab brown clothes, loose but comfortable. Her face is hard, her build muscular. She looks like she wrestles ruse for fun. She scowls down from the makeshift turret. You babysitting Ella, or is she babysitting you? I'll keep an eye on her for you. I hope you do better than the last one, poor fucker. She snorts, like I'm the one who needs a sitter, Mad. Wasn't that long ago I was changing your nappies. Ready to move on and meet the others? Fuck you, Ella, she says without any rancor. Hey, before you go, new kid, I need you to make sure that the perimeter defense is secure. Don't want any unpleasant surprises. What do you think, Ella? Oi, Ella's not telling you. I am. Get out there and secure my fucking perimeter. Don't question her. She says she needs something checked. We're gonna go check it. I want you to walk a circle around the outside of the fence, check for holes. If a dingo can fit through, call it in and we'll patch it up. No need for you to go get your precious hands dirty. We only need your eyes. Just walk the fence? Too easy. Yep, pretty hard to fuck up, so don't. Go on, get moving. She settles back in her chair, her eyes scanning the
That's
horizon.
all we're gonna get out of her. Come on, let's go.
Let's go do our little baby's first walk around and learn how to interact with objects quest. Walk the perimeter of their little settlement. Hold up! She stops and motions to a section of nearby fence. A small pile of dirt is next to a shallow hole. What do you reckon it is? Dingoes. Little bastards been trying to dig their way in ever since Mishti turned the place into a chook farm. As in, chickens. Ella nods her head towards the crow's nest. Anyway, she'll have to get that filled in today. You notice a piece of corrugated iron board coming loose. Oi, Ella, look. What? Looks like there's a loose spot over there. She looks at where you're pointing. Nice find. Reckon a new bolt or two is all she needs. The thing's been patched up since, well, before the fall, I reckon. Might be not even a single piece of the original wall still in there. Yet, the wall remains. Let's keep moving. Hey, there's something here. Ella stops to inspect a small hole in the fence. Bloody thing's fallen apart. Mad'll need to patch this one up properly. Oi, Mishti, you hear me? Tell Mad she's got a proper patch-up job to do out here, would ya? She's gonna love that. Well, I reckon that's enough to keep Mad off her ass while we're away. Nice work. Oi, Mad, found 3 lovely jobs for you. Should keep you from falling asleep while we're gone. Mad snarls something unintelligible and turns away. Well, your eyes work and you follow instructions. So far, so good. Let's head back and check in with the others. Coal's got to be done by now. So we needed to talk to you. Let our character run around. And then she gives us the do the firing range practice sub-quest and go do a couple of little interact with objects in the settlement quest. Ella, she raises her hand to the young woman as you approach. Dreamer, give the fresh meat a wave, will ya? Ella looks up from her work concerned. Fresh meat? For dinner? You know I gave up human flesh, Ella. She gives you a wide smile and sticks out her hand. I'm Mishti. They call me Dreamer. Pleased to meet you. She feigns shock. Oh my, haven't seen manners like that since I left Meriden. You're a beacon of civilization, she beams. Mate, it's a pleasure to meet you. Working with these Deros all day can be rough. Ella growls. Deros? You chose to join the Scouts. You're as dirty as the rest of us now, city slicker. It's clear that she's got a soft spot for Dreamer. Anyway, my job here, such as it is, consists of 2 main gigs. What I do best is to convince people to save their bullets. I defuse fights, make sure people get along. Keep their blood inside their skins. The other job is cleaning up this mess. Anything that I could help with. That's kind of you to ask. As a matter of fact, I could use a hand with a couple of things. And Jake wanted you to get some time in at the firing range. Make sure you're as good as you say you are, you know. She gives you a quick smile. Last fella was a bit of a legend in his own lunchbox. So someone who thinks highly of themselves but isn't skilled. Now he's dead, she shrugs. Better to know up front if someone's aim's a bit shit. Corpses aren't great at self-improvement. She turns around to survey the encampment. Jake wants you to get your gun hand warmed up. I need you to clear the scrub from the camel paddock and fill up their water. Easy peasy. If that's all, let me get going. Now, rather like a good point-and-click adventure game, you tap tab and you can see interaction points. There's a narrow amount of grimy water left in the tub. The camels will need something to drink. Fill up the tub for them. You fill up the tub, providing clean drinking water for these noble beasts. You're a true hero. And then clean up the bushes. The scrub looks like it's invading the camel's enclosure, and they're having trouble resting without getting prickled. It wouldn't take long for you to clear it up. Thank you. And we need to go do our shooting practice, where we get to learn about how the movement and shooting system works.
Name's Jonesy, mate. Who are you?
The tanned, hooded man is busy cleaning a gun as you approach. He looks you up and down quickly, professionally, and then back to his weapon.
Jake hired him to give us a hand on the way to Kokobee. He's pretty new to the life. Got tips for him?
New gun for the good guys, eh? Glad to hear it. You ever use your weapon on a person before? Yeah, loads of times. Lie, yeah, loads of times. Lie, not yet, hoping I don't have to. Or none of your goddamn business. Let's pretend we haven't killed anyone. Bad news, mate. You've chosen the wrong line of work for that. Especially if Jake hired you. Means he's worried about something. He looks you up and down more carefully, but he wouldn't have done it if he didn't see something in you.
So, my advice is this. Time comes to throw down, don't blink. None of the Darrows out in the bushwood, it's them or you. I made the mistake of trying to be kind once.
He pulls down the top of his shirt and shows a nasty scar running across his chest. Here's how she repaid me. He shakes his head sadly. When they've sunk that low, the only help from them is hot lead. What if we organized some supply drops so they weren't so desperate? Maybe we could help them rebuild. Supply drops, mate? I don't think you've been paying attention. Everyone out here is barely scraping by. There's no room for charity when you're a bad day away from starvation yourself. You want to be generous? Give him a quick death. Hate to ruin this discussion, but I'm supposed to be squiring our friend around here. You and Jake are headed back to Brockton after Alderside, yeah? Yeah, gonna swing by and see me old man. Gotta update him on my kill count. Gotta break a few eggs to make that new world cake. Exactly, he lets out a brief but genuine laugh.
It's not just about the killing, mind you. Though just between you and me, fuck the raiders, rustlers and other assholes shitting up the place. Let them piss in their boots when they hear my name.
Don't let him fool you. Under that bloodthirsty exterior lurks, well, heart of a killer. But under that, not a bad guy. Not if he's on your side. Well, unless you're a farmer. Then you should lock up your wife and daughters. Livestock too.
Ah, you know me so well, Ellie. Except the livestock thing. No one can prove that.
No one can prove it. He turns to you and points his thumb over his shoulder. Watch out for her. She's secretly not always mean. Pfft, bullshit. I made her mean. Anyway, like I said, we've got to keep moving. Anything more to talk about, Jonesy? The target practice, please. For sure. Let's get it on and show me what you've got. He steps out of the range, and it enters combat mode. Boop. So, you have movement-o-meter, and you have action-o-meter. You can hide behind things and get, like, cover bonuses. That's actually not all that unreasonable. And part of the reason we went for the huge investment in agility to start with is because it's going to let us get 2 shots per round, which is a surprisingly big deal. Ooh, big miss. You need to reload. You've fired your last round and must now reload. There is infinite ammunition, but reloading does come at the expense of your action points, with a specific amount being consumed depending on the weapon. Below your equipped weapon, you can see each remaining round as a bullet icon. They're currently dimmed as your ammo is spent, so currently all empty. End our turn. We could spend 1 turn reloading. And get a couple more shots off. Now, there's also bashy kind of attacks. You can have like a hatchet or like a club thing. Not bad, mate. Good to have you on board. Hey, Ella. You might not be the resident sharpshooter for much longer. She says nothing, but gives Jonesy the most I'm tired of your shit stare you've ever seen. She's such a charmer. Okay, let's go back, talk to you, and say we did all your little chores. At least ones I remember. That's bloody fantastic. Great work, mate. She gives you a big grin. I definitely owe you one. Remind me of this later at the pub, would ya? Here you go, you've saved me a ton of trouble. Anything else? How'd you wind up here? That's a story all of its own. Are you sure you want to hear it? None planned for the moment. Pnzfst. Typically it's like 3 or 4 months between getting the itch to play them. Let's have it. You asked for it. She settles back and strokes her chin. Alright. Picture a young Mishti growing up behind the walls of Meriden. Now picture young Mishti, already a dreamer, learning the world existed in all its boundless wonder outside of those walls. Now, she wasn't a bad kid, wanted more out of life than the city could give her. She took every opportunity she could find to learn about the world. At age 8, she decided it was time to see it on her own. She shrugs, embarrassed. The guards brought me back home and told my parents they caught her trying to sneak out. They punished her, of course. The world's a dangerous place for the scary place for the city folk. But they couldn't stop her, and by the time she was 15, they'd given up trying. Instead, they started looking for a way to make sure that she'd stay safe. No mercenary work with the hunters and collectors. Not for their precious girl, but where to turn. Remain silent. Turns out my mum had some friends out York way who sent them a message. Did they know anyone who could teach a wild child real bushcraft? Jake came out to meet me himself. Parents had already made inquiries, as they do, verified his credentials. He came by every couple of months after to check up on me, see how my studies were going. A few months ago I turned 18. He asked my parents if he could take me on full-time as his apprentice. I was already halfway out the door before he'd finished his sentence. Had my share of scrapes with danger out there, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You make it sound like you're a negotiator. Exactly right. If you're looking to get civilization rolling again, we can't just settle our problems by making more corpses. Not, mind you, that some people don't deserve to be slapped around. She tries, and mostly fails, to put on a fierce face. And I'll be right there to hand some slaps out as well. Okay, goodbye. Was there anything else we need to do? Return to Jake. Sure. And we are ready to progress outside of ultra-tutorial area into semi-tutorial area.
Heard you having your chin wags with everyone. How you finding Ella? She's rough around the edges, but then we all are. It's why I like to have her squire people around. Anyway, what'd you think of the place?
Place has held up well. Decorate it yourself.
Bits and pieces, odds and ends. We're patching it up when we can, and it's always good practice to keep supplies around, eh? Anyway, if you're done with that, time to get Cole up to Kokeby. Like I said before, it should be safe and easy. Once you get there, meet up with Mick. He can be a real charmer, or he can be a right bastard. He's a hard man, so it's best not to bullshit him. He's Jonesy's adopted dad, if that gives you any idea what he's like.
And you're going with him to Brookton. Jonesy, and you'll meet him there once you've finished up
Anything
in
else you need
Aldersnipe.
from Bally Bally before we go?
Good luck out there. I think we're about ready to go. Yep, we've wrapped up what Mishti and Mad asked about. Let's get moving. Best of luck. We'll meet you in Brookton once we're done. Jonesy, grab your gear, we're rolling out. Same, on the way then, she shouts to the other two. Cole, Dreamer, let's get on the road. You know the drill, Ella. Stay safe, don't be stupid. No wuzzers, no worries. Jake, none of the stupid leaked into my side of the family tree. We're all set.
I would be deeply offended if I was smart enough to understand that, I'm sure. But look, keep your skin in one piece, yeah? This goes double for you, Mishti. If you're outside the gate, you don't let your guard down. You too, new kid. If all else fails, listen to Ella. She'll steer you right.
Got it, Chief. See you later.
You're not even an hour from Bally Bally Hall when you spot a makeshift cart in the road. A man lies motionless on the ground. A sobbing woman cradles his body.
Ella, you seeing
I
this?
see it.
She mutters grimly and tightens her grip on her weapon, her eyes scanning for threats.
The young man sitting off the side of the road is rocking back and forth, a pistol held, unheeded, in one hand. Neither he nor his mum appear to have noticed you, lost in their own personal tragedy.
Things could get dicey. Hang back while we check this out.
Without taking her eyes from the scene, she holds out her hand, gestures Cole behind her.
You got it, boss.
Talk to the woman. The emaciated woman is sobbing over the body of a man lied sprawling in the dirt. Bright blood stains his shirt and pools in the dust of the road. She doesn't look up as you approach, trapped in a world of her pain. What happened? At first you think she isn't answering you. Then you catch fragments of words at the edges of her sobs. She looks up, wiping her face with the edges of her sleeve.
What are you even doing here?
She sees Ella and Misty
Why now?
and your guns.
Why not before before?
She sobs and shakes her head, pressing a bloody hand to her face. Her wedding ring glints goldenly through the gore. Did he attack you? No, he would never. And now she leans down and puts her head on the corpse's chest, shaking her head in unceasing denial. Ella gives you a look and then steps forward to take command of the situation. G'day, Cal. What can we do? She stares at Ella for a few seconds as if to assure herself that the pale woman is real. My son, he shot Greg. Then he's taken the gun and he's a good boy. I couldn't lose him too. What's his name? It's Will, same as his granddad. She gives you a brief smile, but the panic in her eyes doesn't diminish. Let's go have a chat with him then. She nods at the boy sitting in the dirt beside
Let's go.
the fence.
Stay back! I've got a gun!
He points the pistol loosely in your direction, a mop of dusty brown hair hanging into his eyes. He shakes his head to clear his vision. He can't be more than 18 years old. Yeah, what type? So have I, threaten him. Why don't you put it down and we all talk? Or humanist. We're not here to hurt you, just take a deep breath. This is the most in alignment with our... Actually, but I'll go with that one. You don't understand. His arms seem to lower of their own free will. I've just killed someone. He raises them again, shaking. I could kill you too. Who was that man? Did he attack you? He scrubs at his face with one hand. No, you got it all wrong. He points the gun at you with a renewed ferocity. I don't want to talk about it. Mishti takes a step forward, hands up and empty. Hey, let's just chat, alright? Let her take the lead. She described her job as being a negotiator. We've all done things we regret, right? One split-second decision and it seems like everything's over, but it's not. You're still here, and that means you have a chance to make it right. You don't know what happened. What I did. He gestures wildly with a pistol. Ella's expression doesn't change, but she widens her stance. I killed him, my own dad, and all because he... You aren't responsible for what your dad did, Will. Her voice is soft and sympathetic.
No, it wasn't like that. He asked me to.
He looks at
He
you.
said he was holding me and Mum back, that we'd never make it to Meriden at this rate. So he asked me to. Make sure she makes it. And I shouldn't even be alive.
He puts the pistol under his chin and closes his eyes. Rush him and try to wrench the gun from his hands? Reach out a hand to stop him, or shoot him in the leg, or remain silent. We're not evil people, so we will try and save the poor boy. As you tackle him, the gun goes off, right next to your ear. Over the disorientation and tinnitus, you find yourself staring into his wide, terrified eyes. He starts weeping. Your dad asked you to get your mum to Meriden. And your answer's to shoot yourself? You've got responsibilities, mate. You can't off yourself. Not now. Tears streak his face. I know, but I don't know what to do. Dreamer smiles at him gently. You do what the rest of us do. You take it one day at a time, and you make it through. She nods to Ella.
He'll be safer without that around for now. We done here?
Yep, we're done. Let's get going. Cole?
You ready?
Oh.
Let's go.
Dreamer, hey, she stops you with a gentle hand on your arm. You did good back there. It's nice to meet someone who's willing to believe that a bullet to the head doesn't solve the world's problems. If saving one life means saving two, it's definitely worth doing. And everyone knows you can't argue with maths. Hear that, Maury? She grins at you, then removes her hand. Let's keep going. She glances up at the sun and stops with a sigh. This cost us some time, Cole. How important are those parts in Kokobee? About a 4 out of 10, I reckon. It'd be good, but I can probably get Jess to drop them by next week sometime. She looks at the sun and chews on her lip. Yeah, alright. Any objections if we head straight for Brookton? I actually wanted to check out Kokeby. Check it out, this isn't a school excursion, but fine, Kokeby it is, let's go. When men speak ill of thee, live such that nobody might believe them. Plato.
Welcome to Kokeby Way Station. Now we've got Cole here. All we need to do is wait for Mick to arrive, then escort the two of them back to Brookton. He should be arriving any minute now. Any minute now?
I'm gonna go check out the radio tower and catch up with Dustin. He's usually got modulators up the wazoo. I'll be down there if you need me. You only just learned that this was released because you'd wishlist it? Well, better late than never. 35 minutes late, not too late. Fashionably late. And there he goes. Never a dull moment with Cole
I'll
around.
introduce you to Tina. She runs this place. Good person to know if you're looking for work. Oi, Tiny!
Level up, level up. You've leveled up. Open your character sheet and assign an attribute point and 10 skill points. So, what do we want? Some more health now? Maybe some intelligence? No, I think accuracy. And then for these, do we start pushing this up towards 75 for the next bonus? I think yes. Okay. Now, Vama. Here's your Mad Max bit.
Water.
I'll give him a bottle of water. I'm a nice
Thanks.
person. He can barely lift his hands to hold it, but when you press the bottle to his lips, he gulps greedily. Anything you can tell me about the nearby towns? He coughs suddenly, then wipes the side of his mouth, a small bloody smudge appearing on his sleeves. Mate, help me get to a doctor, and I'll tell you whatever the hell you want. Okay, and then we talk to his friendo.
G'day. Name's Damo.
G'day,
Everyone
Damo.
needs fuel. Black gold's rarer than actual gold these days. I got petrol, diesel, whatever you need.
There we
Best
go.
prices this side of Meriden, or I'll eat my hat.
I appreciate you taking care of my mate here. If you'd be up for it, I could use some more help. Anything good around here? No, everything's been picked cleaned for scabbies like us, I mean. The big score's out west through Perth. After our last trip, though, I never want to see that skyline again. What happened? Fire. For a moment, you're not sure he heard anything, but Damo nods. Our crew turned to work the refinery. Someone forgot to oil the parts, or maybe they just didn't clean everything up properly last time. He glances at Sid. I know you said sabotage, but I don't think anyone would bother. The tank was almost dry as it was. You don't need a plan to be an asshole. Damo cocks his head to the side. True. Who do you think sabotaged it? Riley's Rippers. Bunch of punks. He stares at Sid in horror. You know them? You're too young for that yet, kid. He closes his eyes and leans back, clearly unwilling to discuss the subject further. Who are Riley's Rippers? If you have to ask, you shouldn't know. A tremor shakes his voice, and if you find out, you'll wish you hadn't. Okay.
Good luck out there.
Now,
Need some fuel?
what's on your mind? He says his friend is sick. Will you help him? We got into a bit of trouble at the refinery. Sid ended up copping the worst of it. He said everything was fair dinkum, but now his hair's fallen out and he hasn't eaten in 3 days.
You know, all he probably needs is some iodine. I've got a doctor friend down Brookton way. She'd help him, especially if you told her I sent you.
I'm sure Jess would let us take him in the camel cart. What do you reckon, Ella? I reckon you've got a soft spot for sad cases. See? Sorted, as in dealt with. Under control. What's in it for us? He frowns at you. Not one for charity? Alright, we'll take him for
Really?
free.
I mean, thanks. Yes, please.
He shakes your hand so hard it makes your elbow hurt.
I'd shake your head, but I've had the runs for the past 6 days. You know.
Yeah, it's okay. His voice tremors and he shakes from head to toe. You just settle back and rest, old fella. When Jess arrives, we'll get you set up nice and comfy for the ride to town. Casual Roo 5 foot away? Yep. He tries to speak, but the trembling on his lips defeats him. In the end, he simply
I
nods.
told you there were good people out here.
Now, let's go talk to the girl who has the excellent good taste to like trains.
Welcome to Kokobi, stranger.
The effervescent teenager in an outdated conductor's uniform salutes you neatly as you approach. A polished silver whistle swings on a chain by her hip.
Tina, g'day. We're just here to pick up some parts for the radio. Then we're headed down to Brookton with Mick and Cole. Thought we'd say hi while we're here.
It does. It has context menus to help explain Australian lingo for those foreigners amongst you who don't understand our speakins. She gestures vaguely at you. There's a hired gun. Jake reckoned we could use the extra hand. Now you're introduced. Ella, Mishti, always a pleasure. She smiles, the dimples on her cheeks making her look even younger. Mick's not here yet, but you're just in time. I've got a little bit of a pest problem, and I'm hoping you can clear it out for me. What's with your outfit, love? Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the sound of how awesome I look. She swings the chain of her whistle around her fingers, making a faint wah 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 noise. Her customary smile takes the sting out of her words. I found it when I was cleaning out those trains for people to stay in. It was tucked away under one of the consoles in the cab like it was just waiting for me. She puts her arm out and does a spin to let you appreciate the uniform from every angle. Noah thought it suited me. So tell me more about your pest
We
problem.
hired a mercenary, Ian Mason, to help protect the town.
Ever since we hired him, he's been driving business away with his attitude. Problem is he won't get lost. Claims we have a contract. She gives him the finger and keeps it up as he lazily extends his arm to do the
I
same.
want you to convince him to move on. Go terrorize someone else. And to stop being such a fucking crybaby.
Her shout carries clearly in the shimmering air.
Where? I'm a little girl and my big brother's not here. Where?
He holds his fists in front of his eyes in mocking imitation of a
Go
child.
sit on a rusty spike and rotate, you old filthy bastard.
She picks up a rock and pegs it at him. He dodges easily and
So
laughs.
yeah, I want him gone, thanks.
She turns back to you, cheeks flushed. Sure.
Looking forward to your problem-solving capacities.
Let's talk to old geezer with the solar panels.
Friend, welcome to Kokobi and the energy source of the future.
He gestures
See anything
at
you
solar
like?
panels. I like you. What have you got for sale? What makes solar panels so special? What do you got for sale? A gun, a sandwich, a yeasty spread. No one said Vegemite. Small water bottle, frag grenade, and small first aid kit. No thanks. What makes the solar panel special? Mate, he holds up his hand, drawing the moment out far past anyone's comfort level. I can tell you're new to the energy game. These guys don't give a rat's ass about keeping informed, but me, I know my worth. When it comes to energy, you got three choices. Dig up some black stuff, set it on fire. Use that big old fiery orb up in the sky, or run water through some turbines or some shit. I don't know about you, but I don't see a whole lot of water nearby, and I hate getting dirt under my fingers. What's special about solar? It's the gentleman's energy source. He gives you a painfully awkward wink. And civilization, my friend, that's the way of the future. He finally runs out of steam and gives you a supposedly charming smile. What do you say? Want to invest in a better, brighter future? Any chance of a discount? A discount? His voice squeaks and coughs, then he tries again. A discount, mate? You gotta be pulling my leg. You have any idea how hard it is to clean these bastards up, haul them halfway across the country and keep all the sand and shit from getting in them? A discount. I'd sooner get caught with my pants around my ankles when the dunny wall falls down. A discount. Come on, Jerry. Jezza? J-Money? I really want that discount. You've been in the sun too long, mate. It's Gerald with a G. J-Money's got a nice ring to it, though.
A discount? Thanks for the laugh, mate. I needed that.
Okay, we're meant to get this guy to leave the town.
I'm busy.
He has the stance of someone who's seen you've seen with other people with military training. Sorry, let's try that again. He has the stance of someone who's seen other people with military training, but has never been through it himself. He reeks of sweat and his camo is obviously the wrong color for the surrounding terrain.
What do you want, kid? Looking for a real man to show you how to use a gun?
In your dreams, mate, says Dreamer. Tina wants you to move on. I don't give a fuck what Tina wants. She hired me and I've kept my end of the bargain, protecting Kokobee. It's going to take more than you two and your little nursemaids to send me packing. I can make you leave, but you're wasting your talents here, don't you think? There are all kinds of places that would appreciate you more. Pay more. He narrows his eyes and crosses his arms, working his jaw. You can tell he's getting ready to bring out the big guns. I have a contract. A merc's word is his worth. I go back on it. I'll never work again. You'll never work again if you're dead either. What? How are you going to protect all these people if you get yourself killed by running your mouth? The way I see it, you're making a damn good case of why the world would be better off without you. Nah, let's take the slightly more confrontational approach. Sounds like you're the one angling to get yourself killed. Look, mate, you're an asshole to everyone. Me, I've got the patience of a saint. Someone less patient would have pulled a gun on you by now. Or, keep in mind, mate, we're with the Scouts. Think they'd let you kill us with no consequences? Think some other meaner bastards than me will put up with your bullshit?
I've had enough of your threats. I don't take shit from anyone, least of all a two-bit mongrel too dumb to know his fucking place.
And he pulls on us. Okay. That looks okay-ish. Now, who do we want gone? 91? Poor Lockie. Big miss. We've still got 2 points, but 2 points isn't enough to shoot again, so reload. And that's her turn. Girl only really has pistol, and I'd prefer her to be out of sight lines of most people, so she can run over here. Pistol him. Reload one. End her turn. And then me, with my resplendent 6 action points. Can I possibly join over here? Yes. 94. 100. 95. Still, he's the boss man. Okay. End turn. His go. Grenade is a bit extreme. Healing. While in combat, you can use healing items to heal yourself and those of your companions. To heal, you must select the healing item on your radial wheel, and then using the left click when hovering over yourself or a team member when close enough to them. Okay, me again. Goodbye, boss man. And I'm out of points. But do I want to get near this guy to help her next turn? Probably yes. Even if it exposes me. Can she target you? 91. Yeah, 91's better than the other. Then reload one. That's your turn. Do we stab him to death? That's not good enough hit rate for my liking. Swap over. And then stabby, stabby, stabby. Big miss. Double big miss. Terrible. See if you can run around and hide. Okay. He misses. Pistol man attempts us. I don't want to waste a whole turn reloading, so switch weapon. Get myself over next to you. Smack. Oh, big miss. End turn. She starts gunning you. Fails. Reload. End turn. Stabby. Stabby. Double miss is terrible. My go. Club. Yes, please. And again. God, I love having 6 action points. Other than that, I should hide out of his line of sight. Unless I really want to close all the way. No, I don't really want to close all the way. Big miss from you. You have proven to be very not accurate this fight. We've had terrible luck. You also hide out of line of sight. And it's a little bit tempting to have her heal, but I don't think this guy could even get to where he could see her necessarily. Yeah. Can I get all the way to you? I can't, so let's swap back. Reload. And where can I get? I can get there. And then shoot. Might as well reload, no harm in it. You get another chance at actually hitting. And you continue hiding where you can't be seen because you've already been damaged. Could have gone better. Still, maybe we stopped him hurting someone else later on. Loot his corpse. He's got a gun. A shotgun. A radio. 15 bucks. And Ian Mason's key. Whatever Mason's got locked away, it's bound to be far more useful than that bastard himself. Another pistol, more money, and some bandages, sure. And Mr. Masked Man. Cleaver and bandages. Okay. Let's go talk to Engineer Girl and say we got rid of your hassling man.
G'day! What can I do for you?
I took care of that merc for you. Yeah, I saw. She stares at his body, tapping her whistle against her thigh, then shrugs. I hope he didn't have any friends who'll come looking for him. I mean, I doubt it. The guy was a be-all and end-all of assholes, but still, dags clumped together. An uncool or unpopular person. Literally the poo stuck to a sheep's bum. Guess I just hope you'll be here if his mates come along. Still, you did what I asked and that counts for a lot. Plus, I'll never have to listen to him snoring through the midnight watch again. She lets out a sigh and all the tension drains from her body. Finally, I feel like this place is on the up and up. Thanks, friend. She holds out her hand to shake. Shake it. Here's to the beginning of a beautiful partnership. Are you in charge here? Yes. She pulls out her pocket watch and holds it up. Mount Kokobe is engraved on the front in fine handwriting around an embossed steam engine. Station master's timepiece. She slips it back into the fob pocket of her pants and gives it a little pet. Anyone gives you grief, come see me. I don't know what the time is though. This spring's been busted for years. Got any news? Nothing you ain't cotton on to. By the looks of things, you're quite the social butterfly, aren't you? Goodbye.
Hello there, Tina.
Cheers, Marek.
Lovely.
Welcome, Raiders. We're checking out the just-released Broken Roads. Think Fallout 1 or 2 / Wasteland, but Australian. We would have been here sooner, but well, let's just say it's been an eventful day.
It certainly has. Had some excitement in the morning. Had to deal with some diplomacy after that. Not a bad day's work, if I say so myself.
I suppose introductions are in order. I'm Mick Jones, this is Jess Brown. Runs Brookton's barter crew. When I'm needed elsewhere, he studies you. You're a new face. You're into forging alliances, or do you prepare to rough it alone? You gotta stick together if you want to get anything done. A group has more bargaining power than one person. Okay, William Hamilton, just don't go on strike on my watch, eh? She gives him a long-suffering look and sighs. On that note, I'll go check in on Frida. She gives you a pleasant nod. Pleasure to meet you. This the quality of recruit you're accepting these days? She gives him a one-shouldered shrug and he frowns. Speaking of recruits, he adjusts his coat and nods to Mishti. Young lady, you're looking well. Me, I'm off for a quick squiz, a look, at the goods. Gotta keep my hand in. Let me know when you're ready to head to Brookton. No worries, we'll take care of Tina's pest problem, so we're free. Scouts, free? What do I pay you good money for then? He grins at her. She shakes her head and sighs. He gives you a jaunty salute. See you shortly. She smiles and waves at his departing back, then speaks in a low voice. Must be a lucky day. We met old Charmer Mick. On his bad days, it's old bastard Mick. She puts her hand down when it's clear he's not going to look back.
Let's finish up and get on the road.
Move on. Quests. Talk to... Wait, what was that? Please tell me the rest. Move on. Talk to Mick about travel to Brockton. And escort Cole to Brookton. So, talk to him. Say, let's go. I'm all done. Ready to head on? He grunts and strokes his chin consideringly. Need to make sure we're all squared up with Tina before we roll out. He calls loudly towards the diminutive trader. Oi, you no good swindler. We're going to get moving. Any last duvlackies you want to force into my pockets before we call it quits? I seem to remember that used to have a hover tooltip. But anyway, she cocks her head on her hips and stares him right in the eye. I don't know, mate. It's been a long day. Not sure I have the energy to haggle with the stubborn old mule. He feigns outrage. Why, you cheeky ankle biter? Why I order? Then he starts chuckling. Right, let's get on the road. See you in a bit then, eh? He gestures to you. Come on, the sooner we get back to town, the sooner you can buy me a beer. As you prepare to leave, you hear her speaking silently to Sid. Oh, sorry, tenderly to Sid. Come on, let's get you some help. Head to Brookton. Well now, he cracks his neck, then gives himself a little shake. It's getting late, but here we are. You should have a look around town. Introduce yourself to the locals. Never hurts to know who you're dealing with, especially if you're planning on heading out this way often. Any pointers on who I should meet? Depends on who you're after. We've got the local and blow-in merchants, newcomers, but they'll be gone. I wouldn't have said newcomers, I would have said visiting. But anyway, they'll be gone by dark if you want to barter. Sarah down at the clinic if you are into doctoring, and of course, Sally in the Brookton Arms if you want a beer, he shrugs. Of course, you could have found this out for yourself by taking a quick tour, like I suggested. Thank you, I will. Come on, I'll show you around, says Dreamer. So, we're meant to visit bartering people, and I forget which one. Jobs around the station, get your supplies here. Is it you? God, her shit is expensive. Ah, because it's a pistol of +1. I was like, why is her pistol so much more expensive than my pistols? Hitting up the market can be a bit exy, but we wouldn't have come all this way if we weren't here to shop. The children run away, fair enough. No, we haven't tried you. Pencils, paintbrush, no. So I feel like we did everyone then. Give you one last try. Okay, fair enough. What about you? As you approach, he gives you a warm, beaming smile. G'day. You're new around here, hey? How's it going, bud? Who are you? Bruce. He's got the most Australian name ever. I'm Bruce. Bruce Harris. Sell a bit of this and a bit of that. Mostly clean water, some fresh produce. Have a look. Where'd you come from? I was in Aldersnide yesterday. Brief stop in Ardith before that. Just doing the rounds the Deweys and other water merchants might have missed. Deweys? Oh, you know, dew farmers. Glad they're helping with the water shortage, even if it's a bit of competition. A lot of need out here at the moment. Cool. We've met one person. Now they mentioned a doctor. And from memory from the demo, Doctor Lady is sort of vaguely in this direction. Yeah, here we are, near the ambulance. Sarah's ambulance. It can't clock quite as many miles as it used to, but it still has its uses. Clinic. Sarah's clinic and sometimes hospice. Hello there, can I help you? She puts down the rags she's tearing to make bandages and gives you her full attention. Who are you? Sarah Taylor. My husband and I run the farm outside of town. Cheers, Deadpool. Thank you kindly for the follow. What do you do? Town doctor. I mostly dispense pain relief and a dose of reality for the people who forget what really matters. Who are the bandages for? Whoever needs them. She pats the pile of underwound scraps. What's important is that they've laid in the sun and been boiled, so that they don't get anything nasty in a wound when it comes time to wrap it. Got any news for me? Nothing you couldn't get from other people with more time on their hands. Do you need anything? A full surgical suite. Her expression doesn't change it, but she glances at you before continuing. For real though, distilled water is always in high demand. Woody pear, Murray tree sap, lemongrass shoots, the usual. How did you end up here? Was it the accent that gave me away? If she has one, it's imperceptible. I moved here after I met John, and when we had Sean, it made sense to stay somewhere safe. She looks at the walls with an unexpected fondness. Brookton's served us well so far. Goodbye. Okay, we've met 2 people, and if I remember, the other person that we can meet is the chook farmer? Although, I don't remember you being here. Hello. He looks up from his work. You can tell he's thinking through some problem. What do you need? Are you all good with what happened back in Kokeby? What happened in Kokeby? He stares at you for a moment before it clicks. Oh, right, you murdered that dude. Yeah, look, he was being a dick to that teen. To Tina. It's a shame he was such an arsehole that you had to tear him a new one, but if it means she's safe, it's all good. Got any news? News? It's echidna breeding season, so keep an eye out for trains crossing the roads. Oh, that's not news, that's a fact. Sorry. Some cricket stumps and a footy. We pick up the footy. The football is slightly soft, having received a few too many punts across the lawn. It's been lying in the sun for quite some time. The upper portion is blazing hot, while the underside is cool and clammy. Oi, mister, chuck it here. Yeah, peg it hard. Yeah, we're doing well, Decoy. Throwing average, throwing easy. Punt no. Throw the ball black over arm. Sure. Fail miserably. Throwing failure. You throw the ball as hard as you can, but it falls short and rolls to a stop just outside the playground fence. You too weak to throw it. You got noodles for arms. Where are you going, Noodles? The children are mocking us. Okay. Rags, yes. Water bottles, yes. Water bottles, yes. No mark for the little girl. You can't mark off a handball, Mama. Come on, all the time spent watching Jingo watch football, you should know it has to be a kick for a mark. Talk to you. Hey, says the stranger, his voice deep and pleasant. If you're here to help out, we're glad to have you. Who the hell are you? Sean Taylor, of Taylor's Farm. Pleased to meet you. What do you do? I work the farm with my dad and keep Brookton fed. Busy life, that's for sure. Hired gun. Need anything? Nah. Nothing a good night's sleep won't fix. Got any news for me? Not unless you're interested in gossip.
Right.
Okay.
That's enough socializing for one day.
She gives Ella a mischievous grin. You Cadbury.
It's good to know your limits. Let's head back to Bally Bally. Sun's about to set.
She looks sheepish. I was hoping we could hit the pub. Check in on Jake and Jonesy. She raises an eyebrow. Mishti fidgets and looks
Mick will
away.
want to grill the new kid on how the day went down. Let's handle that part first, yeah?
So it's saying, go talk to him again. I remember being able to talk to the chicken lady over here. Yeah, I remember being able to talk to you. New in town, she puts down her hoe and pulls off her heavy gardening gloves, wiping her hands on her pants before shaking yours. Always a pleasure to meet a fresh face. Hope you might stay for a while. Who are you? I'm Alana, Jess's mum. She uses the back of her hand to brush a sweaty strand of hair away from her face. What do you do here? Gardening, chicken wrangling, butchering, anything to do with food that isn't actually cooking it. On the other hand, I do make a mean lamington. Good for you. A lamington is a sort of sponge cake-like thing, covered in chocolate and then rolled in chopped up coconut. Yeah. Okay. Talk to boss man.
Met the locals then. Looks like you've been through the ringer, new kid. Time for a beer. Each person paying for themselves, of course.
Excuse me, I need a moment of your time. The speaker is a tall, broad-shouldered man, well-groomed, with a gold necklace and gold bracelet glinting in the sun. Despite his size, he moves with a fluid grace. He reminds you of nothing so much as a big cat, attractive, smiling, dangerous as hell. Spit it out then, says Mick. All the humour is gone for his voice. Like he senses a threat, he is alert and focused, his eyes never leaving the newcomer. His voice is low and calm. My name is James Wakefield. Glad to meet you, Mr. Jones. I come bearing a proposition for you and your people. Proposition, he repeats, flatly and dismissively. Make it quick, mate. He holds his hands out, palms up. Let me be plain then. I come from a powerful community to the east. We're rebuilding civilization, and we'd like to invite Brookton to be part of that effort. Join us, and we can end the age of grumbling through the relics of the past. Join us, and we can usher in an age of miracles. You want us to bow and scrape to someone who's never looked our way before? Who never had the good grace to come and say hello himself? Civilization. And what do we get out of this, pray tell? Civilization will bring the rains? Fill the fields with wheat again? What happens if I say no? We should hear him out. Maybe it benefits us. I don't remember asking for your opinion, mate. He stares down the stranger silently for a few seconds. We've got nothing but your word to go on, mate. Show us some of these miracles if you're so keen to bring us into the fold. He chuckles. Mr. Jones, I was merely sent to make you an offer. I'm the messenger, not a diplomat. If it's pretty words you're after, you're not the man I thought you were. Well, Mr. Not a Diplomat, why don't you piss off back home and tell your overlords that if they want their boots licked, they're going to have to prove those boots are worth the tongue. Till they can, the answer is a hard no. He takes the answer with equanimity. I must ask one more time. We can offer your people many things: food, water, protection, freedom from want or care. The future is a limitless possibility rather than scratching out a living on the edge of darkness. I'm going to remain silent. Let me just add one thing, mate, says Ella. Her voice is a laconic drawl. We're not exactly too hard dumb boy round here. What you're peddling might work in Ardith or Enwyn, but round here we know how to take care of ourselves. He turns to her, a small smile on his face. Ah yes, the Andersons. You have taken care of yourselves with the protection racket, haven't you? You wouldn't want to give up such a cushy gig. But then, my offer wasn't to you. Stay silent. I don't know why you're taking this bloke seriously. Join his mysterious far-off community so we can, I don't know, all drive cars again? She laughs scornfully. Mutton chop here's been out in the sun too long, I reckon. Piss off, mate. Seems she's taking her clues from Mick and Ella. No need to be rude. His tone is mild. You've made your choice clear. My duty was to ask, and I have done so. Be assured that I shall sleep soundly tonight. Good evening to you all. I'll make sure Cole gets Bally Bally back up on the radio waves. Toot sweet. We can't be offline if you need us in a pinch. He stares at Wakefield thoughtfully. Might be a good idea, yeah. Tomorrow we can send someone to follow his tracks and find out where he came from. We'll get to the bottom of this.
I'm going to need a beer or 5 after that ordeal.
So, quests. Move on. Talk to Mitch. Oh. Head to the pub and get your beers on.
Been a hell of a day, yeah? Gotta head back and spell mad. She'll have gotten pissy sitting up in that nest by a lonesome for hours.
Annoyed. Yeah, irritated. He nods, slapping dust off her trousers. She seems unable to give her companion her full attention. I was actually planning to head into the pub like you said. It has been a hell of a day.
Pub o'clock, yeah? I'm parched. Hope we'll see you in there.
It's always end of the workday somewhere. Don't be a bloody idiot. If you're having a night at the Arms, We're taking the truck, and you can walk back home. Ripper. That sort of means great. See you in the morning, Elle. He nods at you as he and Jonesy head for the pub. It's a bit of a hike to Ballybally, isn't it? It'll do them good. They can walk off their hangover. She turns her gaze back to the younger woman. Right, Mishti, let's pack it in. We've got a free ride home, and like I said, Matt'll be getting pissy about being left out of all the action. To be fair, I thought today would be, well, less eventful, but yeah, time to go. She sighs unhappily. Okay, look, Ella. I know you prefer to base your decisions on facts, so here goes. She holds up 3 fingers. 1, I swore I'd never say this, but you're not my mum. She ticks off her ring finger and touches her index finger. 2, I'm an adult and capable of making my own decisions, and I choose to hit the pub. She folds down her index finger and glances at the remaining middle finger. Hey, here's point 3. Listen, my mind's made up. I'm having a few drinks, not planning to get wasted. Cut me some slack. And mate, we saved that boy at Kai Road today. You can understand that. We saved an innocent life. That's worth a frickin' beer in my book. Besides, I saw that merc. She glances your way quickly. Killed today. Need a little something for my nerves, you know. Ella looks like she's about to talk, but Mishti holds up her hand and keeps going. Plus, we know Taylor's farm was raided today. What if they come back? What if they want revenge? Brookton will need guns, and I'm happy to have a pint and then stand guard. Shooting mastery success. If you're going to defend the town, drinking's a bad idea. It'll dull your reflexes. So because we have basically only invested points in being good at shoot to this stage, we have a special option. She nods. Solid. If you are going to stay. If, there's no point in you going to the pub. Brookton's got 'em handled, Mishti. They don't need our guns here. Come on, why are you so dead set on saying? She lifts her chin defiantly. Jonesy promised to buy me a beer. You know how I feel about free beers. You're pulling my leg. Jonesy? She steps back inside. Kid, I've got stories about Jonesy that'll curl your pubes, assuming you got any. Listen to Ella. She's looking out for your best interest. Damn straight. Don't make the mistake dozens of young Sheilas have made, Misty. It won't end well.
Anyway, Dreamer, I'm gone. I'd say don't do anything I wouldn't, but you're already way past that point if you're keen on a dickhead like Henry. I'll tell Matt you're drinking her beer.
She blows out a heavy sigh. Rough, and you weren't much fucking help. What is it with everyone over 25 wanting to make decisions for me? I left Meriden to get away from that shit. I swear, she treats me like her little sister. Bloody hell, maybe even her kid. Her real sister would kill her if she tried this crap. She takes a deep breath and lets it out through pursed lips. Alright, pub o'clock it is. You coming? Head to the pub and get your beers on. So yes, we are going. Okay, Jonesy, Mick, Dreamer, Stranger, Door. The real outback of Australia. Staff only, more like Sally only. Nostalgia puts the good in the good old days. Nothing sadder than a dead soldier. A faded article about old Don Bradman, including his batting average. It would probably be real impressive if anyone knew the rules anymore. Specials, beer, $2. Merlot, sold out. Peace and love. Hope for the future, sold out. Oof. Take the empty bottles.
It was a shame things had to go the way they did in Kokeby. But I'm happy to know you had Ella and Mishti's backs.
Oh!
Her entire attention is focused on Jake. You couldn't interrupt if you tried.
Oh!
Okay, let's talk to the bartender lady. Sally Eads. What can I get you? Her calloused hand is knotted around an old rag as she wipes the shining bar top free of spills. She flashes you a quick smile. First drink's free if you promise to buy 3 more. Sure, I'll take that free drink. Does that scheme really work? Scheme? She gives you a amused look. Mate, I'm just laying my terms out. Clear and simple. Want a drink or not? Not in your life. Loving the attitude, but I got paying customers to attend to. Not unless you want to waste more of my time. How'd you get into running the pub? She hoists her right leg up on the bench. and wraps her shin with her knuckles. Wasn't much good to the crew once blood poisoning took my leg. Couldn't walk so far anymore. She puts her leg back down and gives the bench a wipe for good measure. Of course, losing my leg hasn't dulled my trading instincts. I still drive a mean bargain. Just so you know, I have a discount for newbies too. Don't get many repeat customers if they die out in the desert. Anything interesting happening in town? Let's see. Vic and Eastie got in another fight. Didn't break his jaw this time, but Sarah still gave him a good chewing out. Go on. Raj got Vicky's knickers in a knot, so she's troubled, over some loan he owed her. So she shielded his sheep in the middle of the night and left him standing buck naked in the run. Poor bastard's got a bad case of sunburn. Esty and Rowan got back together, and word is she's up the duff. She's preggers. She'll have to go to Meriden for the birth, though. Sarah's bedside manner is pretty terrible. Told her last time if she had any more sprogs, she'd tie her tubes while she was unconscious. More! I need more gossip! Easy there, Tiger. That's about it, I reckon. She scratches the side of her nose. Not a lot going around here, as you can tell. Okay, goodbye. Who else? We need to talk to you guys. She's talking animatedly, almost knocking over her glass of beer. Jonesy moves it out of harm's way.
Heard you put that crybaby Mason in his place. Guy was overdue for a derp nap.
Heard you... Yep.
Got to admit, I didn't think you had it in you. But I'm glad you proved me wrong.
From what I've seen, Deadmon, it isn't quite like that. It's a series of set pieces, more so than a sprawling world map a la Fallout. He's listening to Mishti's enthusiastic recount of the day's events with half an ear, and keeping tabs on people at the bar. Sally said you wanted to talk to me. That said, that was in the demo, so maybe once we get past what's publicly knowledgeable in the demo, and of course we wouldn't reveal any knowledge we have from the non-public beta, maybe it opens up with more of a map. We'll have to see. He looks at Jonesy, who's drinking his beer, and simply raises his eyebrows by way of assent. All right, let's do this.
Boy.
Suddenly, you're fixed by Mick's piercing gaze. Let's get down to brass tacks. It's a long enough walk from Kokeby. Had time to hear about a few of your exploits from our lady of no bullshit here. Reckon you'd be interested in my take of things. Sure, why not? Well then, he gives you a measured look. Here we go. You're a bit on the slippery side, I have to say. Not that there's no place in the world for different points of view. I just take issue with the ones that affect me in ways that I can't foresee. He cocks his head to the side. You're a hard worker, I'll give you that. But you're too quick to step in when you should be asking questions. Mishti's a charmer, all right, but she got you good. Getting you to do all of her work for her, she's not going to learn that way.
As for that merc up in Kokeby, Deadeye Mason was a bully and a fucking embarrassment. We don't kill people for that around here. Not since I became mayor anyway.
And that's not even getting into what happened on Kai Road. He watches you, waiting for your reaction. Go on. You and Mish make a great team. I don't know that I'd have been able to talk the kid down, but you did. And you should be proud. Even if the most you did was keep your pie hole shut, that takes tact too.
Now, tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think you actually want me to do that. He roars with laughter. Damn straight I don't. I'd have to hand in my mayor's badge. He wipes his eyes with his fingers.
I like you, kid. Maybe there's more to you than I gave you credit for.
The sound of hail reaches your ears a moment before Sean bursts into the pub, screams and cloying smoke trailing in his wake.
Get out here! We're under attack!
The system's rather more complex than just good-evil decoy. This isn't just a, like Fallout 4 or 3 or equivalent. You have a good boy / bad boy meter. You'll notice there's this little compass down here. We have sort of nice and works as a community, evil individualist, completely nihilist, and nice to everyone, even the bad guys. Aspects of our potential moral compass. You fill in a little questionnaire at the start that makes your starting alignment, and depending on your current alignment, it changes what options you have available in some text dialogues. The growl of his voice carries in the shocked silence. Bloody mongrels, let's show 'em what it means to tangle with Brookton. She grabs her rifle from the wall and cocks it. Let's rock. Piss off, you mongrels. Heavy pain. They won't get past us.
Reloading!
Reloading. It's a bit dark for my liking, but it does get brighter once you get closer. Okay. Hello, Maya. Bob and Dawn are straining at the harness, almost overturning the cart. Mick is shouting at Jess over the rattle of gunfire. We're not leaving until we've got a few more people clear. Continue. They spot you at the same time. Let's go.
I said not yet.
Where are the others? Or I've got to rescue the poor bastards. She groans in frustration. Hurry! Okay. And we can waddle our way round and rescue some of the poor innocent people. Well, there's 3 of them. Memory says you wanted help moving a med pack. No, you want help moving a med pack. Good, another pair of hands. Her tone is brusque, projected easily over the rattle of gunfire. Sean needs help loading medical supplies into the ambulance. How are the tires coming along, John? He gives her a thumbs up and keeps doing whatever it is he's doing underneath the vehicle. She pauses momentarily and stacking and sorting. Then there's that bloke from Kokeby, the one with radiation poisoning. We're full up, he'll have to stay behind. It isn't good or bad, it's just what it is. She scans the lines of boxes filling the ambulance and shoves another into the overflowing shelf. It fits perfectly. I'll go tell him to stay behind. We can't leave him behind. He might be dying, but that doesn't give us the right to execute him. Or utilitarian, he's a scabby. He might know where to get more medicine and save lives. Ask him then. Sure. I thought I was feeling better, but now I'm not so sure. Help him out to the ambulance. You gotta pull your weight, yeah. I will, I swear. He tries to stand on his own, but collapses onto your shoulder as soon as you offer it. Okay, collect a med kit for Sarah. Oh. Okay, we help you. Now, I had trouble with this, but what you're meant to have noticed is this med kit, which you grab and then presumably give to her? Put him in the back. His intel better be worth it. Just as he's about to hand Sarah an armload of supplies, the sound of running feet reaches you. Jake runs out of the darkness, dragging Alana behind him. Bullets ping off the road as he in his tracks as he shoves Alana towards you. Wrenching his hand free of her grasp, she lands against you hard, throwing you off balance. Take her and go, I'll find you. He's already running back towards the gunfire, dodging and weaving, one shadow among many in the flickering dark. Jake! Alana pushes you away and runs after him. Alana, wait, or chase after her, she's defenseless. Let her go, there's no helping someone who doesn't want to be saved. Chase after her, letting her distract Jake will only get him killed. You catch up with Alana quickly and grab her arm. Let go of me, she screams. Knock her out to save her life? Pick her up? Knock her out to shut her up? Pick her up. You try to get her over your shoulder, but she struggles and kicks so hard you drop her. You only just manage to grab her arm again before she runs away. Okay, we're knocking you out. You hit her in the temple with the butt of your gun. She sprawls face first down in the dirt, and you drag her to the clinic. Sarah does a double take when she sees you carrying her. What did you do? Put her in there. What about me? Sid looks inside the ambulance, fidgeting. Looks awful cramped. Look, I know what I said, but Alana's my friend. Plus, someone knocked her unconscious. We can't leave her to fend for herself. No one speaks for a moment, an awkward silence broken by the gunfire. Sid clears his throat. I reckon, leave me a gun and I'll make it out all right. I don't want to give away my rifle. If it's giving away one of the spare pistols I have, I'm okay with this. But if this gives away with my rifle, I'm going to be annoyed. Damn it! He takes my rifle. Ugh. You, Sarah, and John get in the ambulance and you watch out the rear window as the flames of Brookton fade to a dull glow.
Bloody hell. Without warning, the raiders were just there, cutting people down as they ran, eviscerating anyone who didn't, and burning everything else. Brookton was a growing community, making the most of a shitty situation after the world went and fucked itself. Brookton was, with no hope now. People scattered and ran, some were found too late. Many weren't found at all. Morning comes, cold, with a hint of fire on the horizon as you cross the vast red desert. The pale faces of the survivors who reached Bally Hall were ovals of white in the darkness when you left, watching as you, Mick, Ella, and Mad begin your trek towards the answers none of you were sure you wanted to find. Smoke no longer rises from Brookton. The visiting winds have carried it away in the night. You listen for the cries of the wounded, but hear only silence. Even the dawn chorus of kookaburras chattering in the trees is absent, chased away by the smell of blood and gunpowder. Mick leads you through the gate, then stops. That's when the nightmare becomes real.
Could you not just have given him their medkit? Like
Right.
the third option said? Don't know, Jeff.
Spread out and look for survivors. Scouts will hold up around the pub, last time I saw.
Okay. He points towards the clinic. You said you and Sarah left by South Gate. Might still be some supplies to collect. So, you've proven yourself capable in a pinch. Where do you want to start? Check if any of the townsfolk made their way to the clinic. Good-o. He nods in your direction. Ella, Mad, it's on you to keep this young fella safe. We'll meet up at the cricket pitch. Be thorough, but be quick. Okay, what are we actually doing? Our job is investigate the clinic. Sure. We did play the demo for this Solar like 4 months ago something? Maybe? Immediately you can tell that the clinic has been picked clean. Any empty bottles have been smashed. The ground a multicoloured kaleidoscope of wanton destruction. He's sprawled on the ground, your rifle clutched in his cold, lifeless hands. From the blood splatters outside, you gather he took more than a few of his attackers down with him. Well, I get my rifle back. It takes some work to pry his fingers loose. You pull the rifle away, his fingers stay in their death grip, bloodless claws grasping at nothing. She flicks the bolt handle. Empty, looks like he didn't waste his shots. She looks at the corpse with renewed respect. You want to look around a bit, or are we done here? Let's take a few minutes to search. At the back of the shelf, deep in shadow, your questing fingers discover a parcel wrapped in wax paper. Pulling it out, you unwrapped some long shards of bark. Whatever it is, Sarah will want it, right, Elle? Elle doesn't reply. She's standing with her finger on the trigger of her rifle, staring out into the sunlight.
Jake would have left a sign if he was safe. Something's wrong.
A sharp crack of a gunshot reverberates in the silence. Before you've had time to fully process the scene, Ella and Mad are sprinting towards the marketplace, weapons drawn. Find the source of the gunshots near the marketplace. He's against the pub wall, with Jonesy's head leaning on his shoulder. He looks up as you approach and gently disentangles himself from his dead son and stands.
Let's get the rest of this mess sorted then, eh?
Meet Mitch on the cricket pitch. Investigate the marketplace. No, poor dreamer. Her footsteps falter as she approaches Mishti's corpse. Her face remains an impassive mask as she examines the bullet wounds at throat, neck and thigh. 2 spots of colour rise in her pale cheek as she consciously moves her finger from the trigger of her gun to the guard. Mad steps forward, her jaw set in determination.
Don't!
The word rings out in the silence like a slap to the face. Mad doesn't wince, but withdraws. Ella walks away without another word. It's a bag? Oh, it's the poor lady's leg. Oh, God. Neither of the sisters slow their steps as they approach their cousin's lifeless body. Mad shifts her weight, and for a moment it seems like she might give him a kick for good measure, but she restrains her impulse after a glance at Ella.
This sucks.
It fucking sucks. They stand in silent agreement for a moment, neither of them willing to break the silence. Then Ella turns away and sighs.
Let's keep moving.
All right, meet Mitch at the cricket pitch. Oh, I didn't investigate you while we were here earlier. So there's a, like, ex-raider guy that's in the cage that you can free during the attack. And I didn't talk to him. Good riddance, the guy's dead. Okay, that's... well, I didn't get him saved. Hello.
Hey, mate. This has been quite the fucking shit show. I think Mick's about ready to pack it in.
West Australia, country bound, take me home. Yeah. You ready to be done with this place? Yes, I'm done.
Well, it's been a tough day, but we're not done yet. It's clear by now that help isn't coming, and without some sort of protection, our days here are numbered. The way I see it, we bury our dead and we head off to Meriden. The radio's still out of Ballybally, so we'll have to swing by and pick up that lot. We'll need to travel by night, but even a crawl by the light of the stars will be better than lighting a bonfire back at the hall that anyone can track us by. Any objections?
Ballybally seems well fortified. Why don't we stay there? No space, not enough ammo, not enough tucker. She counts off the points on her fingers. Plus, if it's someone who had it in for Brookton specifically, Ballybally will be their next target for sure. Surprised it wasn't the first, actually. Alright, let's get it done. Grab a shovel then. She nods at Mad and the two of them walks toward the marketplace. Mick stands there for a moment, looking at his hands, then walks after them slowly.
It's never easy to say goodbye before you're ready. Especially when you thought you'd have more time.
Yeah, I'm liking it. Hey, Osao. There's occasionally it's a little too Australian, such that it makes me cringe a bit, but it's good. She shifts slightly, watching the horizon, hands on her gun.
I've still got a lot to learn. Jake was the best of us. Jonesy kept us light and Mishti.
She still owed me a beer. She was your heart. She'd be laughing at what a bunch of sad sacks you all are. That seems the most like her. Not true, she knew how to do this emotional stuff. She'd want Elle to try to do it too. Is the currency tapes of neighbours? No, it's dollars. Dollars and, yeasty spread sandwiches, because they don't have Vegemite rights. We'd have to get moving. His voice is hollow as his gaze. Pity party's over. He walks away without a backwards glance. Subdued, Ella and Mad follow behind.
You take
Only
off
in
into
a
the wilderness, walking by night until you've put a couple of days' distance between you and the flames. No one talks, or if they do, it's all in whispers. You have enough food, just enough, for now.
As in, I find it embarrassing.
Suddenly, a crack,
Hey, Sayo.
like the sky breaking in two. You look up at the cloudless vault,
Not
but
bad.
Mick's caught the tail end of it through his binoculars. Pick up the pace, is all he says. People are more than tired. They're exhausted, but Mick's words light a fire under him, get everyone moving as if the devil himself is hot on their heels. Then again, looking at the rising plume of dust and smoke ahead of you, maybe it's not the inferno you left behind that you need to worry about.
G'day, Neverblock. And yes, Salar, Australia has a large amount of camels, and in fact, our camels are better than the camels of the Middle East, in that our wild camels are essentially purebred. We very literally export our camels back to the Middle East because ours have better breeding than theirs, which have been allowed to crossbreed. Okay, Mick, he shakes his head. I don't believe it. It's got to be 100 years since anything this big flew. And who's got the chops, who has the ability, to get jet fuel these days?
I'm getting really tired of surprises.
He talks out the side of his mouth so the others can't see. I hate to ask someone of your obviously defective judgment for advice, but any thoughts on what Sean or John are walking into here? Whatever the story is, we can't have the convoy stop here too long. Or, let's just make sure we're on the alert, no telling who or what might still be around. He gives you a nod. I'll be covering you from back here. Yell if you're in strife.
Go on then. Come get me if you find anything.
The Grave Song. Amazing, absolutely amazing. These things haven't flown since the before. How the hell did this get here?
Too bloody right. What a beaut, eh? I've had a little poke around, but still can't quite make heads or tails of it.
Right, like that line. Heyo Sayo. Those are things that you would hear, but it's just it's a little embarrassing for me to hear that much concentrated Australianness in one sentence. I'm sorry. Who are you exactly? Name's Jarrally. But everyone calls me Deej. You must be Sean, hey? Your Jess told me heaps about you. Heaps means lots. And in fact, that's very South Australian rather than Western Australian. But anyway, including, that you don't get out too much, right? He looks behind Sean to the convoy and waves. Hooroo means hello. Or goodbye, depending. Jess, Bob and Dawn going well? She's in the middle of talking to Sarah, but takes a moment to return the wave. So I guess we're here for the same reason. See a bloody big plume of smoke rising in the sky, you take a gander, a look, at what's burning. He gives you a good-natured shrug. The door's completely jammed shut, but the wing's turned off. I'm probably the most Australian thing I know. I didn't want to head inside alone, but now you're here, we've got safety in numbers, yeah? Let's have a crack at it. Nemerblood must have broken the tradition and not come to Australia during his gap year, like all the other Germans. Every single one of them. That's been great, thanks. Welcome. Yeah, seconded. Beaut. Wouldn't mind the company. Rode a camel myself all the way here, and it wasn't the best conversationalist. He hands Sean a walkie-talkie. Speaking of speaking, found this guy on the ground. Can't make him squawk. DJ has joined our party. He hefts it in his hand. Feels like the batteries are missing. He pops the compartment and peeks inside. Yeah, we're shit out of luck. Might be able to scrounge some up, if you ask me. He clips the walkie-talkie to his belt and looks at his father. Come on, Dad. We should see if Mum needs help treating the people with heartstroke. Fair dinkum? True? He looks at the smoking hulk again, then back at his son. Yeah, alright, I guess you'd tell us what you find at least. Too right, mate. Wistfully, John follows his son back to the ambulance.
Come on! Let's get inside!
Okay, this. The lid of the container has been forced open. Whatever is inside is long gone. The wind whistles through the shattered glass, lifting what looks like a sleeve of a shirt. Cheers, Virathi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's no visible handle, and your fingers find no purchase around the edges. It doesn't look like anything could pry this bastard open. Oh, dead peoples.
Look.
He points towards the break in the fuselage. 2 bodies lie motionless on the ground.
Yeah, let's check him out.
Too late for both of them. She's had her throat cut. He's been beaten to death. And mate, this happened very recently.
If it's so recent, maybe you should double check their vitals. He cradles the head of one of the bodies in his hands. Mate, I'd love to say different, but dead is. The man's eyes fly open and he gasps. He looks towards his companion. Jansen! Then he sees you and recoils in horror. Shoo! Shoo! He drops the man's head in shock. The victim's eyes close once more as his limbs go slack.
Oh, the bloody bats out of bloody hell. Okay, he is 100% certified dead this time.
Maybe it's worth going through his pockets. Maybe you should check his vitals one last time, I promise, and snicker, I won't do the ventriloquism act again. Okay, let's get moving.
This is why people gave up air travel.
Beaten to death by the looks of it. And beaten to death by the looks of it. You peep through the torn fuselage. Wrecked seats fade to the dimness, but you can make out the open door of the cockpit and a clear passage through. You could easily hoist yourself up and enter the downed plane from here. Let's go in. You climb up and walk past the empty seats. The acrid stench of the engine smoke hangs thick inside the fuselage as you make your way towards the cockpit. Inside are 2 bodies, still strapped to their chains. The blood pooled below them, still dripping from their fingertips, reveals how fresh this scene is, but the pilots are still lifeless and cold. And no, I'm no ventriloquist, Rakon. Boxes and small containers lie strewn in the aisle. Aside from the pilots up front, the other seats are empty. Search. Look over here, says Ella. That hut to the southeast, pointing out the cockpit window. You peer through and see a small, dishevelled building, likely an old abandoned cattle station. Worth a closer look, she says. From here you can see a small open lockbox on the ground. You take a closer look at the pilots. No breathing, no pulse, only the slowly dripping blood, not yet dried. DJ steps closer and kneels next to each in turn, checking their heads, necks and arms, cold, probably from the moment this thing came down. He glances outside involuntarily, not murdered like those 2 outside. This place has been ransacked. Ella's voice rings loud. Whoever did it might still be nearby. We need to search the area. They might have more clues, or they might have seen what's happened. Search the boxes. Other than some more serious denting around the corners, the locks have been clearly prized open. Someone has been here. You turn back and climb out of the torn fuselage. And our character's backstory is hired gun, Rakon. We are specializing in gun, and we put all our starting points into enough agility so that we can take 2 shots per round. Ooh, an emu. Hello, emu. Who are you? Stranger, this pudgy, frightened man wears ill-fitting, stained clothing. He's been living hard, apparently. He spreads his hands to show there's nothing in them. To his credit, his voice hardly trembles. G'day, mate. Name's Omar. Reuben Omar. I'm a surveyor by trade and a, scavenger by circumstance. He swallows. Please don't kill me. I'm totally unarmed. You responsible for this mess, then? No, not me. I was just doing what I do when that thing fell out of the sky, and I thought... He's talking fast now, almost panicked. Maybe I could get some loot and sell it, you know? Maybe get some tucker? Turns out I wasn't the only one to have that idea, though. I snuck away when the mongrels arrived.
Wait, the mongrels were here?
He nods. I was sussing out the front of that thing when they drove up. They grabbed those 2 poor people from inside the plane, took them in. His eyes cut towards the wreckage and he swallows. I just hid. I've had a look inside the plane, but the dust has settled. Is there anything else you saw before we got here? What do you mean, besides the bloodthirsty gang beating 2 innocent people to death, looting a plane and also giving me a heart attack within the same hour? Yeah, besides that. Any and all information is helpful. Think details. I didn't see everything, alright. How could I? Hiding behind this building, trying not to end up like those passengers. He blows air out between his lips. But I did hear something, right before all the engine revving and them leaving. One of their mob was moaning about how heavy the package was. That's all I know. I don't really want to talk about this anymore. I'm going to have bloody nightmares. Where did they go? They filled their packs and headed south, probably back towards Ardith, mate. Do you know what they filled their packs with? Dunno. Whatever they could find, I guess. I wasn't watching them up close. Who the hell are they? Those bastards belong to a woman called Priss. Calls herself the Empress. Oh, God. She likes puns. Humble. She's not. Runs Ardith to the south. Me, I stay away from there. Let me tell you. Artist, thugs, and thieves. Not a bad place for a shag, if you're into a no-strings-attached type arrangements. She turns slowly to face her sister. Mad grins. Ella pointedly returns her attention to Reuben. Bunch of throwbacks. Really? That's an Australianism? Living like a pack of dogs. I didn't know this was a Australianism. Fucking beast in human clothing. Just look at... He clears his throat. Just look at what they did to those poor passengers. How did you get away? His voice falters. I was out around the front of the plane. I could hear those Ardith bastards carrying on like they do, like they'd struck pay dirt. 4 of them, guns out. I didn't stand a chance. They set in on those 2 passengers, and He stops, draws his breath. I crept away, down along the fence to this hut. I'm not a fighter, no weapons. What would I have done? If there was no chance of saving the group, I'd have made sure I lived. Well, yeah. That's why... Why's living feel like so much of a failure, though? Cowardice is its own reward, I guess. So those bodies are, well, were passengers? I didn't see too much, but there was a lot of yelling and fighting, and, well, the mongrels, they take trophies. He touches his heart. I wish I didn't know that, but I do. The inside of the plane had been totally ransacked. Do you know what happened? No idea. All I know is that the mongrels went inside after they killed the passengers. I could hear them shouting and whooping. I could see a couple of them were struggling with something under the wheel, while the other 2 bastards were dealing with a passenger. But as soon as I heard their vehicles starting up again, I ran. If you squint your eyes, it's scarily close to English. Been hiding here since. Sounds like you're pretty observant. Why don't you join our convoy? Look, you're on your own out here. Why don't you join our convoy?
That's Mick's call to make, mate.
And if Mick sees some value in him, great. If not, nothing lost.
Sure. You can bring it up with him yourself.
He gives Reuben an enthusiastic thumbs up. Come on, mate. You just earned yourself protection all the way back to the Big Smoke. Really? Bugger me. Of a person, a bastard. Of an action, to do poorly. Literally buggery, as in to have sex with animals. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. No decisions have been made yet. Thank Mick once he says yes, or don't make me regret sticking my neck out for you. You won't, I swear. He points at the plane, giddy with relief. This fucking thing, eh? Glad it brought you my way.
Well, let's go get this over with.
Can I talk to you again? I'm mad keen to hear what Mick's got to say. Don't want to get more until we get that sorted. Can we break into this thing? No one's lived here for quite some time. Shelter's no use when your nearest water source is kilometers away. Okay, hello Mr. Emu again, and back to Mick. Ooh, and what's that? I missed something here. There's a pole. A pole with some desert peas. The Western Australian floral emblem. I'll let you out of my sight for 1 minute and you come back with a whole clown car full of company. He glares at you. Who are these bludgers? So, people that don't do anything useful. Lazy person. And why are they trailing you like lost puppies? She holds her hand up to forestall Mick's tirade. This is Deej. He gave me that suppository for Bob a while back. He speaks quickly into the silence. And this is Reuben. A bit down on his luck. Could use some help making it back to civilization. Civilization, eh? His bitterness takes DJ aback, but he doesn't have time to interject. One beggar at a time then. You first, kid. Jess vouched for you, so I can see you travelling with us on a temporary basis. This is temporary, right? Just to Meredith. You're being a bit harsh, don't you think? I don't know, he's not shy about touching dead bodies. Could be an asset. That's honest. If that's all it takes to impress you lot, my other skills are going to blow your minds. Yeah, the hover explanations are great. He turns his attention to Reuben. And what about you, old mate? What's his name? That guy. That bloke. You look like you've been through the ringer, though of course that's no concern of ours. I'm doing just fine, thank you for asking. He shifts his satchel subtly behind him, looking for a guarantee to make it back to Meredith safely. And what makes you think that you'll find it with us? He speaks flatly, his mouth a thin line. He's a scavvy. A scavenger. He knows how to find treasure among the trash. I'm a surveyor, mate. He glances at Mick, embarrassed. On hard times is all. I haven't made a career out of scabbing, promise. Sure you haven't. What else you got? Say nothing. Let him stand on his own 2 feet, or not at all. He glances at you nervously and licks his lips. I can give you guild intros, access to the Grey Traders, pathways to new settlements, you name it. He stares at him until Reuben begins to sweat. Alright, I buy it. But if you screw us over, I'll report you for fraud. You definitely have an in with the guild. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Mick gives him a look of baffled disgust. We searched inside the plane, 2 dead pilots, some ransacked boxes and containers. The thing's been picked over. A shame, but to be expected. There's bodies outside the fuselage, recently killed. Did they look like they were in the thing when it came down? They were. Saw them dragged off with my own 2 eyes. Don't think I'll ever forget it. Doesn't tell us much, but maybe everything will add up once we know more. Reuben said the Ardith crew took something heavy from the plane. Interesting. Chance is bullshitting? Doubt it. He looks scared out of his wits. It's a bit weird that we have this conversation when he's here. So this is obviously intended if you didn't tell this guy he could come and join us. He's just happy to be alive and that we didn't shoot him. Yeah, I reckon he was in shock. Poor fella's telling the truth. Reuben says the Ardith mongrels were the ones who killed the passengers outside the plane. Ardith, eh? Fuck. Not surprised they beat us here. No doubt, took whatever they could find. Yeah, sounds like they made off with our scavenger friend was hoping would be his. That's all that we've found out. Alright then, let's see. We know whoever was here took something heavy, but not who they were or what they took. Have you really checked all around? We can't spend all day here, but I expected you to find more than this. I was pretty thorough. I don't think there's anything more to find. If you say so. Alright, everyone ready? Experience gained. Truck's ready. She looks to her sister who nods. Okay, as for our new friend, come up front with me, I got questions for you. Right you are, mate.
Let's move out.
Okay. And Deej has supposedly left the party. Jess, she's been at the gates for a few minutes now. It's impossible to hear what they're saying from this distance, but finally her calm composure cracks and she yells at her impassive opponent. I'm not leaving my people out here to bake in the sun. Bless me. He says something and gestures at the gates, then heads inside the town with a short, guilty glance at the convoy. The woman Jess is arguing with wears a white jacket with nary a stain or crease. She shields her golden eyes from the sun and pitches her voice to carry to you and anyone else who might have heard. As I said, we've had an influx of people seeking aid. All of you know how much it costs to house a population, let alone feed them. She spots you and Mitch approaching and raises hands to forestall Jess's response. Miss Brown, your friends appear to have missed the line over there for the outsiders. I suggest you get back in the line before I ask my guards to put you there. So, we have information that we could trade. We're not outsiders, we're neighbours. We've travelled so far and we're tired, begging. Fuck the line, our home was destroyed, we need inside. Why is there even a line? I thought you welcomed travellers from all over. We're your neighbours. Everyone from outside Meredith is an outsider. It's the only way we can ensure treating everyone
Governor
fairly.
Smith, this is all that's left of Brookton. Our town was raided and its inhabitants scattered 3 nights ago. Jess tells me you're harsh, but fair. As Mayor of Brookton, I officially request your aid in retaking and rebuilding our community, starting today.
Stranger, the man at the head of the queue pipes up. Who the cares? Westonia is under threat from forces with 10 times as much firepower as us, and I've sat in this line for 2 days on the off chance Governor Smith would deign to speak with me. Wait your turn like everyone else. She regards him coolly. Deign to speak with you, is it? Far be it from me to rupture such self-serving delusions by actually having a conversation with you. Governor, he recaptures her attention. We haven't come empty-handed. We've got specialists in our convoy. Farmers, medics, mechanics. You know Madnella, scouts from the Bally Hole. An old mate here. He gives you a critical look. He gestures to you. Go on, introduce yourself. Hired gun. Before things went to shit, I was a hired gun for the scouts at Bally. Or, I'm a hired gun, ready to do your bidding. Say nothing. I'm not proving shit to you. We lost everything. No, we'll be semi-friendly. Anyone who's a good enough shot to join the scouts will have a busy future ahead of them in Meriden. All you need to know is we didn't come empty-handed, like Mitch said. She briefly scans the rest of the convoy, her expression unreadable. I must say, Mick, you do have quite the group here. I can see why Jess was so adamant that I let you in. She taps a finger to her chin. I'd love to help, but there are plenty of others in this line with similar skills. What it comes down to is whether or not you can support yourselves without relying on handouts. If you could guarantee that you wouldn't be a burden on our already strained economy, we could let you in on a provisional basis. Jess, her lips compressed into a thin line, she calls to the convoy. Anyone who grabbed more than the bare essentials, bring it here. The governor wants proof you can pay our way. Hired gun, I'll keep the peace in exchange for a berth inside your walls. She looks at the outsiders, who are growing more agitated by the moment. She inclines her head towards the line. If you can calm down the line, I'll let you in. Side quest, where we have to be a friendly person rather than just gun. He spits on the ground. If it isn't the line cutter, you should be ashamed of yourself. Everyone, please. I've met this gunner before. They saved my boy's life. Ah! Let's lend an ear. Where's that nice woman from before? She's gone, kiddo. Will's mouth drops open in shock. Ella looks away as he leans into his mother for support. Some of these people have been waiting for weeks to get inside, and you have the gall to cut in front? You should be standing with us. There's enough of us to storm the damn place and make it for our own. Think critically. Who will help Westonia if you attack Meriden? Get real, you wouldn't stand a chance. You'll only get hurt. You'd probably be treated with a bit more respect if you weren't being so hostile. I'll go with try and use logic on Jerkface. I don't want to get hurt, but you have to see this is fucking ridiculous, right? This line is massive, and Angela and her little shadow take their sweet time with us like we're not starving to death out here. We've got people dropping like flies every day, he swallows. We had to bury one of the kids last night. He raises his voice. But Meriden's wondrous leader doesn't give a shit about dying kids. Angela doesn't bat an eye. He turns his smouldering gaze on you. I'll do anything to save my town. Westonia shouldn't suffer because Angela's too busy raising taxes to send help. If I'm about to lose everything anyway, then Meriden can burn for all I care. Come on, you'd have an easier time if you just did as they instructed and obey the rules. That doesn't sound likely to get a good outcome. Point your gun in the air and shoot. Enough, you'll be buried alongside that kid if you don't. Yeah, that also seems useless. Or your feelings are very clear, but you don't need to cause a situation that endangers all these other people. She steps forward. If Connor had brought this matter to our attention sooner, we might already have been able to act. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the seriousness of his situation known. We'll bring him inside Meriden and listen to his demands once we've settled the survivors of the poor doomed town of Brookton. He chokes out a laugh. That's the closest I'm going to get to an apology, isn't it? I'll take the guarantee, but you'd better get the rest of these people somewhere safe and so. She looks at the never-ending line of people, then back to you. I'm satisfied with what you've shown me today, Mitch. Meriden is open to your people. You and I will speak of your request for aid. He snaps out of his reverie. Of course. Thank you. She heads inside without another word, and the rest of you trail in his wake. Enter the town. Mick, he walks in towards you slowly. His head droops and his once immaculately pressed jacket is now disheveled. He exhales and looks up at you. He gestures to the makeshift camp. As much As I'd like to take the credit for all this, I feel like I dropped the ball. You and Jess did good work out there. Thanks for offering to be a dog's body for the governor. Free labour's like catnip for leaders. I've never turned it down myself. He chuckles. He sighs and looks around. Here's the deal. I'm going to try and talk Governor Smith into helping us retake Brookton. You're welcome to get the lay of the land first, but if you could meet me at Smith House sooner rather than later, I'd appreciate the backup. I'll take a look around then. I'll see if I can catch the governor before she gets bogged down in affairs of state. She's got a lot going on right now, but Brookton is a priority. It has to be. He says this last part almost to himself, though the conviction in his voice doesn't make it through the worry on his face. You'll be laughing at how many people need some mongrel to teach them a lesson. Stranger, hush up now, DJ, or your friends will know that you doubted them. This old man speaks with a twinkle in his eye, leaning on his cane to appraise you from a comfortable distance. Is he... okay, old man and cane, not like pimp and cane. You made it, DJ says, as he stares at you. I was sure Angela was gonna keep you in that line out of spite. Nothing a little brown-nosing wouldn't fix. Can't stop and smell them roses if your nostrils are full of shit, mate. He touches the brim of his hat. He dons. He dips his hat to us. I'll see you in quarter? Then Angela's obviously not going to give me the time of day. Stop by any time, even if you don't manage to find it. Yes, conk. The old man gives you one last look, then shuffles away. What up? Conk asked me to find a treasure he lost in Meriden. He said it's not worth anything to anyone but him, even if it does look a bit swanky, fancy. He holds... I don't agree with upmarket or expensive. I'd go with fancy. One half of the treasure is a black rectangle about the size of my palm, and the other is a white plastic rope that slots into the end.
Let's see if we can hunt it down.
Okay, who is Alana? Hello, happy to see you. Wasn't this the chicken lady? I help grow things, garden communities, opportunities, and of course my daughter. She beams at Jess. What do you think? Goodbye. Ooh, can we pat the cat? We can pat the kitty. Hello, kitty. Water bottle. Meant to be a wombat? It is meant to be a wombat, but it looks more like vaguely armadillo. Hello. Paperback books. Scratchies. The inventions of Nikola Tesla. Pens. Transformed economics. The production of too many useful things results in too many useless people. Pencils. The general theory of John M. Keynes. You can have a Caledon reading economics stream. The difficulty lies not in the new ideas, but in escaping from old ones. And scrap paper. Do I need to re-equip? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Yeah, it looks like we do. So, hunting rifle. How do we say, please equip that as your thing? Can we drag it there? Ah, we drag it there. Does that mean I can put bandages? Or like a sandwich in the other one? No. Maybe those are for grenades? Okay. More desert peas. Camels make camel noises. Everything you need to keep safe from walls or in them. Who are you? Jimmy Nguyen. He tugs at the collar of his tartan shirt, whistling a slow, calming tune. He nods when he spots you. G'day, name's Jimmy Nguyen. Here to see the water tower? Is the water tower yours? It's part of my lineage. It belongs to Meriden, but was built a long time ago. It's been at least 15 years since it's seen any action. Goodbye. Can we climb it? Okay, no. Kalgoorlie Bidder? Welcome, it's good to see a fresh face. Someone likes trains? Stranger, this slender, mousy-haired woman stares with venomous hatred at the shovel at her feet, nursing her hand. She mutters to herself. Why did they put me out here? What's the point? Is this punishment for... She breaks off when she sees you. Beg your pardon? Didn't see you there. How can I be of assistance? The last words are bitten off and mechanical, spoken as if by hated rote. Who are you? She looks at you morosely. I've been told I'm not allowed to talk to strangers, especially if they don't know who I am. Jasper says good servants don't draw attention to themselves. Is your name Blobber? Why would we say is your name me? Isn't that your name? Is your name Lisa? No, okay. So no, let's just... Shazza, Darren, Noreen, Mixie. Mixie is a... Mixie is the name of a puppet from a childhood cartoon. Medigliana is also... Yeah, these are definitely going for references to the Ferals. So the Ferals were like, think Jim Henderson puppets, but really, really shoddy Jim Henderson puppets TV show. Mixie was a rabbit, and her name was short for myxomatosis, which was a artificially engineered disease that we made to kill rabbits. And Medigliana was the name of the cat. Kimbo... Whereas these couple of last ones are Neighbours cast members. Noreen, Darren, and Shazza. But anyway. So, Aussie cultural references. Get across. What's in the bin? Scrap. Sure, I don't know what it does, but okay. Can we talk to you? No, you're not a person. Another bin. Hey, LFGs. Welcome, 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 Raiders. For those of you just joining, we are checking out Broken Roads, just released 2.5 hours ago. Turn-based tactics / RPG game, so think like Fallout 1-2 / Wasteland but Australian. I'll have to put up my prices again if the Ngoyans keep upping the water and electric. I fucking want to go. Oh, he's asking if we want to fight. Ooh, I didn't notice that up here was somewhere we could go. Connor McCabe and Stranger. This well-dressed woman smiles easily, but there's a shrewdness in her eyes that belies her friendly welcome. A hint of redness around her eyes and nose suggests that she's not above sampling her own wares while on the job. Welcome to the Flaming Galah, mate. I'm Holly Bell, and I'll be your host, mainly because I'm the manager and sole employee. Couple of house rules before I take your order. No credit, no tab, no exceptions. Even the governor doesn't drink for free. Second, keep the politics to a minimum. This place is neutral, no fights, no fuckery. Clear? No credit, no fights, no fuckery. Got it. Great, well you have then. Got any news for me? Everyone's talking about the election and how some of the first indentured servants might be released from their contracts soon. I stay out of all that. In this line of work, having an opinion is bad for business. Can't afford to piss off my customers. Still, lots more ciders than usual been piling up outside. And oh, she lowers her voice and nods towards the shabbily dressed agitator from outside the walls. This sad sack from Westonia breezed in here, talking to anyone who'll listen about how his city needs help, like we don't have our own problems, just because we're smart enough to build walls that lasted more than 20 years. What do you do for fun? This is what I do for fun. Everyone in town comes here, I get to make them laugh, and they go home happier than when they came in. If I'm lucky, I'll do this till I die. Why'd you call it the Flamin' Galah? Legend has it that a galah got drunk in terps and flew too near a candle. Burned the original pub down, she nods sagely at you. You're not sure if she's having a go, making fun of you, pulling your leg, or not. Why are there more ciders than usual? There are more outsiders. Oh, from what I hear, raiders, like the ones that took out your lot, are popping up all over the place. Then there's droughts, storms, mutants. It's a real shit show. People need security if they're going to do more than survive. Not sure how they think coming to Meriden's going to help. But that discussion starts to get into pissing off the regulars territory. So it's banned for you, me, and everyone else. I met the Restonia rep. He's a real charmer. From what I hear, his town's got a threat. The you're with us or against us type. He wants Meriden's help to fight him. I don't know what we've got the manpower to do anything, or the will to help even if we could. Thank God every day that I'm not in charge of more than a few drunks and figuring out which kettle's got the least dents for the next patch of beer. Mutants, really? Yeah. You seen that wombat near the... I did comment that the wombat looks weird. That's the baby. The mama's around here somewhere. Okay, so there is an explanation for the wombat looking weird. That plane crash was a sight indeed. We took a look around. There were bodies. Found a surveyor. Meet Mitch in the Governor's HQ, but first I should have a look around. Oh, wait, I didn't talk to the other guy. It was the weird wombat, Salar. At least for one. This unkempt man is slouched next to the bar, turning his pint glass around between his hands. His eyes are rimmed with red, but he doesn't have the cloying smell of the other drunks. His presence gives the impression of someone unwillingly displaced. He looks up and catches your eye. Well, look who it is. Miss Smith's favourite queue jumper. He seems to fight some internal struggle before turning to face you fully and holds out his hand. Connor McCabe, here from Westonia, trying to convince Meriden that maybe our town is worth saving. Mate, you sound like you know what's coming for us. Meriden has to help us. Will you stand up with me and demand to be heard? I'll see what I can do. You're in a rough spot, and I might not be able... But we're in a tough spot and might not be able to help. Anything you could do would be a huge help. He turns back to his drink, head down. Yeah, the wombat looked really weird back over here. This guy. Like, his fur is different on different parts of his body, and he has this armored head plate sort of weird-looking thing. Who are you? Who are you? Wilkins, the young man at the cart, looks like a veteran of countless scrapes. Scars up and down his arms and around his face, missing teeth, bad tattoos, the works. He summons a hideous smile as you approach. G'day, mate. Wilkins the name. Food's the game. Hungry? You've come to the right place. What's your pleasure? You're my pleasure? What do you have in stock? What brought you to Meredith? Town full of rich, well-bred folks. Big old gate surrounding the town, merchandise that gets guarded by people on camels with guns. He seems especially excited about the last point. What's not to love? Okay, goodbye. Oh, gosh, there's so many people. You? Bank's closed for now. Probably best if you don't loiter. You? Oh, it's actually these two and that's set. No, that is the same. Okay, so maybe this opens later. Now these guys. bars that away. You all say the same thing? Not up for a conversation. Beer o'clock for you. What about you? This slim man stands surrounded by a welter of beer bottles. He waves another one around to punctuate his words. Sounds like he's had a gutful and is worked up a head of steam. Well, who are you and what do you want from me, you blow-in? No need to be so hostile, mate. You're the blow-in. He smirks. Mate, I've worked for Governor Smith for years. I'm good friends with the owners of this pub, and I help keep the peace. You're some trash that blew in off the road. I'm gonna ask if you could please politely fuck off for real. I'm drinking here. Okay, leave you to it. Yeah, right. Who are you? Rich Craigie. His face is painted with dirt, accentuating his hollow cheeks and tired eyes. Name's Rich Craigie, mate. What brings you here? Trade, I'd like to see what you have in stock. What's it like being an indentured servant? He breaks into a fit of laughter. Bloody terrible. What do you do? I take care of these buggers. I swear they shit more than they breathe. Bye. No wuzzers. No worries. He means no worries. Car battery, why not? And copper wiring. Do we have a capacity? Like, so far I haven't seen some sort of weight system. So maybe we can just carry infinite crap. This one isn't big enough for a game of cricket. Ha ha ha. That is a cultural reference. So, the movie The Dish. There's an Australian movie, The Dish. The Dish is about the moon landing and how Australia played a part in... We had a big satellite dish that was important for being part of the relay network to communicate with the moon landing at the time. Because there's not so much... At the time, there wasn't so much infrastructure in this hemisphere. So we were... Yeah. And part of that movie is they play a game of cricket on the big dish. So that is a cultural reference. To a somewhat famous Australian movie. Okay, no. It's a pretty funny movie. Quite nice. I liked it. Hunters and Collectors? Yes, the movie is just called The Dish. Parents wonder why the streams are bitter when they themselves poison the fountain. Hunter, you step into what feels like a temporary lull in battle. You note the line, hand-drawn, separating one half of the room from the other. Also for reference, Hunters and Collectors is a band. They make some songs that you would typically hear in pubs. How is it so far an accurate Australian simulation? It's got enough Australianness in it, Barb, that it makes me cringe and embarrassment at times. Maybe it's a little over the top in its like concentration of Australianness, but no, it's pretty good. You step into what feels like a temporary lull in battle. You note a line, hand-drawn, separating one half of the room from the other. Welcome to Hunters and Collectors. I'm Hunter, and that bloke on the other side of the line with a fine moustache is Cole. What can I do for you? What can we do for you? He eyes Hunter while addressing you. We've both got plenty of work for you. All you got to do is promise you'll at least take a gander at the job board when you blow in with the dust. You got it. Fantastic. Just between you and me, the jobs are official Surveyors Guild business. Far more engaging than the mindless poaching gigs my friend here offers, but... You want mindless? Go clean up one of your bloody CDs. They scowl at each other. They break eye contact and focus back on you. Anyway, I have I have something you can get stuck into quick smart. He gestures to a row of hunting rifles behind him. I rent out these bad boys to help newcomers save up for their own, but some dags, who call themselves the Mason Gang, are avoiding me because their loan is up. I want you to head over to the Flaming Galar and bring back my guns, and the casings from any bullets that they've wasted. You'll need to talk to Sultana, Rigididge, that means legit, and oh no, it also might be a person's name looking at this, and some dickhead named Oki. Okay. So here's the quest board. Various posters and bits of paper have been tacked up here for any willing and able bounty hunters to take. This bounty poster for the Ripper has seen better days. The sketches are faded, but you can make out a large pendant. The poster itself has got to be 20 years old. It must be one hell of a grudge if Hunter is leaving it tacked up for that long. Thank you muchly. Reuben? Ah, you're here. We saved you. Thanks for helping me out. And make it back to town, mate. Okay, and what has Collector's got to say? He turns away from a bookcase stacked with old DVD cases and glass jars to greet you. Sorry about that. I get lost in my own world when I'm dusting these beauties. Do you and Hunter argue a lot? Hey Hunter, this one here thinks we argue, he laughs. We like to poke fun at each other, but we don't argue. We're best mates, always have been and always will be. What do you do here? He smooths his moustache. Well, on top of being Meredith's official rep for the Surveyors Guild, I'm a collector of memorabilia from before. Really? What kind of memorabilia? Newspapers, music, fridge magnets, you name it. Knickknacks from before. Tell us what life was like back then. Shows us what people valued, what they enjoy, and how the world used to look like. I like to connect with history, remember those who died in the bombings. What have you got for sale? The Prince, Machiavelli's. Wisdom consists in knowing how to distinguish the nature of trouble and in choosing the lesser evil. Radio parts, rope, an opal, a gold nugget, brown Outback hat. 3 extra action points. That's an extra shot. 1 action point and 1 movement point, or scrap. I'm not going to be able to raise 1,500 bucks though, even if we sold all our garbage. I could maybe raise 400? Guess we need a new hat. Okay, let's make a dedicated save rather than just an autosave. And we don't look at the... Yeah, we totally didn't have access to the game earlier with other saves than what you've seen me make on stream. That's not suspicious. Ah, these guys are the ones that have that gun that we need. She tips her hat. Name's Rigididge. Got something to say to us? Hand over Hunter's guns, or I'll pry them from your cold, dead hands. Hunter sent me, your loan's up, I'm here to collect Hunter's guns. Your loan's up, let's not be overly confrontational. But our loan's not up yet, right, Sultana? He runs a hand along his mohawk. Red bristles flick back up to attention. No? She sighs heavily. If the loan's up, the loan's up. Hand him over to our new friend here. She gives you her hunting rifle. Come on, Ree, we haven't bagged that emu yet, sorry. You promised this would be my chance. Tana, the situation's changed. Anyone bags that emu instead of us will mount their head on the wall. I'll hold you to it. Oki, he grins, showing a mouth littered with gold-capped chipped teeth. Gun's all yours, but I left the casings at the firing range. I'll go get the goddamn casings. He salutes you with his schooner, with his beer. His glass of beer. I don't know what's happened to our zoom. Oh, it's trying to tell me that this is the shooting range? And that I should waddle over here? Probably. So let's wait for my character to make it over here. Stranger, this gaudily dressed gentleman, clearly likes to be the center of attention, but he has a kind face and piercing eyes. His voice is like liquid gold, deep, mellow, and rich. Hello there, strangers. My name is Adam Gold, traveling magician, accused charlatan, roving raconteur? I have never seen that word. A person who tells anecdotes in a skillful and amusing way, and general entertainer. In other words, I like to tell a good story, put on a good show. I'd like to say I'm as entertaining as hell, but a rotten egg or two will convince any sane man that his work's not everyone's cup of tea. He brushes some imaginary lint from his sleeve and finally takes a breath. But I have a trick or two that might be of interest. Step right up, as they used to say. Can I step left up? Can a toucan do the can? Come on up, my friend. He turns to the rest of the small crowd. A round of applause for our brave volunteer. How and why is there a stage magician in Meredith? Meredith is the capital of West Oz, of course. The beaten economic heart, eh? There are some sizey shops east of here, sure, Southern Cross and Kalgoorlie, and that lot, but for the western bit, you can't beat Meredith. I go where the money is and stick around, provide some entertainment, keep the people amazed and confounded, and head out before they accuse me of witchcraft. He pauses, which happens more often than I'd like, if I'm being honest. Show me a trick, then. I was going to wait until the crowd's a bit bigger, but okay, just for you. He dips his right hand into his coat pocket, and it emerges holding a large golden coin. Watch carefully, mate, and prepare to be amazed. The coin dances across his knuckles of his right hand, while he pulls out a handkerchief from his left. He wipes his brow theatrically as he opens his right hand and drops the coin into his palm. He closes his fist around the coin and tucks the fabric into the top of his hand. He pulls the handkerchief through his fist, shaking it loose, and opens his palm. There's no coin. Where did it go, eh? Hang on a tick. He reaches behind your ear with his left hand and pulls the coin free. Ta-da! You've almost got enough there to buy yourself some dignity. No, we're not that mean. How did you do that? To quote a showman from the syndicated age, you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. Thank you. We'll talk to you as well. Anna Nguyen. She looks around the marketplace. She spots you and puts on a tired smile. Sorry, did you need something from House Nguyen? I'm Anna, Jimmy's wife. What do you do? I'm usually knee-deep in paperwork managing our water business. I've been doing fractions since I was an ankle biter. So Jimmy was more than happy to have me work the numbers while he does the talking. How did you and him meet? Before I settled down in Meriden, I was the brains behind a barter crew operation up north. I had to travel to Meriden one time to settle some trade disputes, and I met Jimmy at the Galah. He wasn't part of any dispute, mind you. I just thought he was hot. We tried long distance for a time, but it was hard, you know, so I moved on down to Meriden to keep our business in check and become his wife. Who are you? No, you just sell things. Including seeds. And you? Grey kangaroo pelts, red kangaroo pelts, meat. Could be emu, could be roo. Could be one of your best mates. It all tastes like chicken, and sometimes it's best not to ask questions. I haven't had emu, but I have had roo. Pop this onto your plate for a fair dinkum meal. Restores 5 HP. Possum tails. A cleaver. And they said you couldn't hack it. Ugh. Invaluable in and out of combat can be used to get multiple strikes off in a single round. Ah, but it's a +2 hunting knife instead of our hunting knife of normality. She looks up from some bit of accounting or stock take. What's on your mind? What do you think makes someone a good leader? Compassion. I'd appreciate if you could take a little more time to think things through, if I'm being honest. Okay. What's it like running a barter crew out of Meriden instead of Brookton? Sure is different, a lot more competition, a lot more cross-pollination of stock. I've even seen stuff from the East Coast. Good gosh. Costs an arm and a leg, but we had no hope of carrying, let alone selling, that kind of stock in Brookton or Aldersnide. Maybe the election will shake things up. Angela takes a cut of every sale, which Hogan is campaigning against, but he hasn't proposed an alternative either. How are you holding up? Just doing what I always do. She gives you a look that's meant to convey some meaning you don't quite understand. He gives you a nod. Thanks for looking out for my parents back in Brookton. You're solid in my book. Jess is glad about her mum too. Both our families owe you a debt that we'll be quick to repay as soon as we can. What do you think makes a good leader? Doing what's right for everyone, not just whoever you're with at the time. Don't worry, you're solid in my book. Tell me about yourself. It's a bit of a long one. Grew up in Brookton. Mum and I used to travel a lot. A good doctor's always in demand, and there are a lot of small places that barely have clean water. Got to see a lot of the countryside, but then he got shot. Mum got him back to Brookton, but everyone else got killed. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all gone. Anyway, you get the picture? It's not a unique tragedy, but it's mine. How are you holding up? How about we just give each other some space? It's not like we need to be living in each other's pockets all the time. Okay. Thank you for saving me. Also, please go away.
Yeah?
Her tone is brusque, but you have her full attention. What do you think makes a good leader? Strength. You could stand to toughen up a bit in that regard. What are you going to do now that Brookton's gone? Same as we've always done. Protect people who pay. We're not done being scouts because the place we protected got wiped off the map. Nah, Elle, you gotta spin it. Brookton got wiped out because we weren't there. Yeah. What do you think of the people who stayed behind? Will they be safe at Ballybally Hall? Should be, if they stay smart and keep their heads down. We should repair the radio, but get them back on the air in case they need us. Ugh, that's not my Australianism. This would not fly where I am. So, tell me about yourself. Yeah, nah, means no. That can also mean yes. How you holding up? Fine.
Ta.
Can we pick up those bullet casings? We can. In fact, there's a whole lot of them. Though I am slightly reticent to move into the firing range while there's someone on the range. And what about you? Oh, do we actually talk to you from this side? Game. I don't think you're going the right way to talk to her. That's really weird. I think that's a bug. There's no way that that's meant to be the point where we're meant to talk to her. Hey, look good? What do you think makes someone a good leader? It's something people want to follow, isn't it? Someone people want to follow. If you've got what they want, they'll do what you want. Simple. We're just scared of talking to this woman. I don't know what you're selling, but I don't want a bar of it, see? Simple. How are you and Ella? We're doing great. She even lets me pay her out a bit without getting mean. How you holding up? Fuck off. That's how I'm doing. Goodbye. She spits. Okay, we can go back to the store and hand in the gun and the spent bullets. And what if we talk to you and the other guy? Do you have a go at us for trying to save the man? Yes. How'd you end up here? We thought it would be somewhere safe for John and I to live out our days. We've been lucky to reach the age we are. We didn't want Sean to be stuck taking care of us when we couldn't take care of ourselves. And you? I've got work to be getting on with. How are you holding up? Doing alright. Already had some discussion about helping out on the emu farm. How did you and Sarah meet? I was out looking for a wild jumbuck when I heard music. Not regular sitting around a fire pit strumming on a guitar music, but actual music in the middle of nowhere. Took me a few days to work up the nerve to get closer, but as I walked up to the front door, that's when I heard her singing. Took her longer than a few days to stop pointing a rifle at me, but I'd just pop back every couple of weeks, bring her some meat or rags. One time I brought a ribbon for her hair. She looked at me and said, "What the hell do I want with that?" Did that until her mother died. Then I proposed. I knew there wouldn't be room in her heart for me until then. As I recall, it was me who said, "I guess I ought to marry you." He chuckles. The last word will always be hers. Knew that the first day I met her too, and that's fine by me. Okay. So where was the Hunters and Collectors store? Also, there's a place that I haven't uncovered yet. Hello? Who are you? Vendor. Gun of +2. Pistol of +3. Boosts initiative by 10. And body armor. Probably the awareness and HP one. Ah, you don't buy my car battery for as much as that other person. Different vendors seem to want different things in different amounts. He and the governor sound like they're a long ways from wrapping up. What the conversation lacks in friendliness, it makes up for in one-upping. And I'm telling you, Governor Smith, if we don't retake Brookton, there'll be nothing left for either of us. She shakes her head. As I've repeatedly said, I can't afford to spare someone to help your rebuilding efforts, no matter how big or, in your case, small, especially if the raiders are more spirited than their attacks than usual. That is unless... I'll bite, unless what? She looks between you and Mick. I believe your lackey here could assist me with something, with your permission. Fine, but if you don't return me on time, there's a fee. He crosses his arms, radiating stubbornness. And might I ask why you think that, Governor? Anyone willing to put in the hard work and earn their stripes in Meriden is a useful asset. I want to see what he's capable of, beyond his area of expertise. Thanks, Governor. You're not so bad yourself. But most importantly, you both owe me, so I don't think you're really in a position to refuse. Borrow away then, just remember there are lives at stake. My people can help Meriden survive the next raider onslaught, provided Brookton becomes a priority. He locks eyes with Angela. You may think you're safe behind your walls, but if you believe only one thing, believe me that you're not prepared for what's headed your way. No one has seen it. No one who hasn't seen it could be. And most of it who did see it are gone. She gives the barest of nods. Great, I'll touch base with you later, Mick. Now, let's discuss your future out of this damn heat. I'm ready to see what other skills you have hiding underneath that unassuming exterior. She heads inside without waiting for you to follow. And it auto-pushes me in. They killed our previous town, Rakon. I don't recall if you were here for seeing that. Stay out of trouble whilst here. Don't cause a fuss. Remnants of a life lived in these offices have accrued here like driftwood along a shoreline. Look at the top shelf. So yes, we used to be in a different town, and then that town was attacked by the raiders, and that's why we've come to this town, Rakon. Look at the top shelf. There are some abandoned before currency and a daddy longlegs, this is a kind of spider, that begins its tantrum dance when your breath shivers the strand of its web. Check the middle shelf. A round metal sphere sits atop a stack of dusty books. The bronze coating is layered with intricate images of creatures and architecture you've never seen before. In one panel, a kaleidoscope screen of pink and blue shimmers faintly. Check the bottom shelf. A reflective black rectangle, about the length of your hand, is perfectly centered on the aging wood. It looks like it was placed here with precision, though the purpose is unclear. What is this? It was given to me by my grandmother. She said it contained the key to unlock a man's heart. Smith women typically need no help in that regard. Can I have it? Perhaps I could be persuaded to part with it. Let's find out together. Okay. And then there's her bench. It's made of mahogany. Oh, and I'm painting. Some dreams are too wild to be tamed. Thank you for coming. No need to sit. She gives you her attention. You have a feeling this doesn't happen to many people. As you can tell, I have a few things on my mind beside clearing up the town that's already been razed to the ground, so I'll make this quick. The election for the next governor of Meriden is approaching. As the incumbent, I want to win the election and retain my position. My only competition is Malcolm Hogan, a weak-willed imbecile with a penchant for rabble-rousing. I'm confident of my success, but I don't leave anything to chance. I'll let you cut through the red tape keeping you out of Meriden because I see a way to solve all our problems at the same time. All you have to do is tell the leader of each house you are under my employ to assist them however they see fit. In return, once I'm elected, I'll divert what help I can towards Brookton. Interested? I'd like to know more about the houses first, and I'd like you to let me know whether you're going to help me or not before I waste any more of my time on your questions. Sure, I'll help. Better the devil you know. Oh, Brookton, you have no idea. I need you to speak to Jasper of House Menzies and Jimmy of House Nagoyan. She glances to the side and you notice a dartboard with what looks to be hand-drawn caricatures in the center of it. That should be all you need. Come back when you've done your bit to assist them, and more importantly, me. Okay, so... Oh, no, Malcolm Hogan. Mate, how are you? I don't believe we've been properly introduced. My name's Hogan, Malcolm Hogan. Of, you guessed it, the incomparable House Hogan. This beefy man has the air of perpetually aggrieved. His florid face is sour and sweaty. His waxed moustache droops in the sweat. He gives the impression of holding on to some personal standard of presentation completely at odds with the environment in which he finds himself. I've got a job that needs doing, and I heard you arguing with Sarah, with Smith and Menzies at the gate. You seem like a resourceful lot. But what I'm really looking for is discretion. What do you want me to do? Well, our dear Governor Angela hauled up something precious from that plane. Her guards drove straight to the bank, kicked out everyone, and won't let anyone in, not even me. Whatever it is, it's important enough that she's hijacked the bank vault, stopping everyday residents from adding or accessing their savings. As concerned bystanders, naturally it behooves us to investigate, find out what her secret is, and when I'm elected, Governor, I'll see what I can do about getting your lot settled here in Meriden. Do we have a deal? Maybe later. This offer's good for a limited time. Change your mind, you can find me at the Flaming Galar. So we've got to choose. Do we go with this man or incumbent lady? I'm inclined to go with incumbent lady because she seems at least competent and, well, yeah, better the devil you know, as they said. No, where was the Hunters and Collectors store? There we are. I want to hand in that rifle and the bullet casings and see what reward I get. Never attempt to win by force that which can be won by deception. Niccolo Machiavelli. Wait, what? This isn't... What? Didn't it say Hunters and Collectors? Well, now I feel silly. Oh, no, the Colonial Hotel. My bad, I'm an idiot. We needed to talk to the Nagoyans, and we see Anna, so maybe she can give us whatever her family quest is. Her eyes dart around. How's Meredith treating you? I'm here on Angela's behalf to help you with anything you may need. You remember that Menzies has a different pronunciation in Scottish, but you forget which? She peers around looking for something. Yes, I could use your help. Jimmy's disappeared again. I need him back at the house as soon as possible. Because, well, look, just find him and tell him to come home, okay? He's at the water tower. Of course he is. Could you let him know to come home? Is everything okay? You seem frustrated. I appreciate your concern, but I'm not comfortable discussing that with you. She's a whale biologist. Okay, talk to him, tell him to come home. What can I do for you? Anna sent me to find you. She wants you to come home. You seem tense. Are you and Anna going through a rough patch? No, I love her a lot. It's just, I want to have a baby with Anna. Christ, I want to have a lot of babies with her. But this water business takes up all of my time. And so I come here to think. She wants you to come home now? The doctor says she needs to rest. At least she didn't go scouring Meriden herself. Cheers, I'll go see her soon. Bye. Tell Anna I'll come home in a jiffy. Okay, I can do that. He's on his way home. Thank you, and please thank Angela from me. Okay. Okay, here's the Menzies' house. How's that? So that is what you scream when you want the umpire to declare that the batter is out. The Menzies' house. We're just going to let ourselves in? We're just going to let ourselves in. Hello. Jasper Menzies. That looks more like a woman to me, but okay. So much to count, so little time. I'm here on Angela's behalf to help you. Her laugh is stilted and unpracticed. Oh, Governor Smith, you vile being. She steeples her fingers. Numbat, an indentured servant of mine, is currently reporting less than stellar performance results in her latest job near the train carts. I wish to amend this, but I don't have the time to go around in circles with her. So I want you to motivate her by relaying this message. The principle is simple, but errors have a tendency to compound. Isn't that interesting? So they're talking about debt, her debt compounding, so that she'd be a slave, well, indentured servant for longer. And did she actually tell me her name? Numbat. So her name wasn't in the list of names we could guess. Nor is she a member of the Ferals or Neighbours. She's still staring at her tools. She startles when you speak. Your name is pronounced Noel, but written like Jackman? Are you Numbat? She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Why is she named after a Pokemon? It's not a Pokemon, it's an animal. It's, a small marsupial. Oh, good. By Jasper's rules, I'm allowed to talk to you. Yes, I'm Mia Kimmins, also known as the Numbat, like an accountant, but some clever bugger came up with a nickname for the role. Something about numbers and wombats, I'm guessing. Thinking about it makes my brain hurt. Anyway, I work well worked at the bank. Me and my family have been indentured servants in Meriden all my life. I was raised for the bank job and thought I'd keep doing it when I earned my freedom. But I guess that was just wishful thinking. What are you doing here? I don't know, digging a hole, moving coal, they don't deign to tell me, and I have no right to ask. My parents taught me how to handle the books, and all my life I've kept track of everything that goes in and out of the bank. I catch cheaters, I stop fraud, I make sure all our business keeps working, but now I'm shoveling shit. She rubs her injured hand. How much longer till you own your freedom? I reckon I only have a couple of years left, but I overheard Miss Smith and Miss Menzies talking. They said it would be inconvenient for them to lose their workforce. And just as I got close to paying off my parents' debt, suddenly I'm here doing work I'm not suited for. Miss Mackenzie has always said that my work ethic has stooped drastically. I tried to give her a piece of my mind, and now I'm barred from talking to her. I've kept a ledger, you know, all my salaries and expenses. I bet it'll be gone by the time I get back to the vault. If I ever do... Jasper Menzies wanted me to bring you an interesting message. The principle is simple, but errors have a tendency to compound. She stares at you for several seconds. Miss Menzies can't even make the time to threaten me to my own face. I'd quit if I were allowed. And if it wasn't punishable by, well, you know, death. Thank you for telling me, I guess. I'll work so much harder now for some reason. She squints and gives possibly the fakest smile you've ever seen. What did her message mean? Just that she's threatening to apply compound interest rather than simple interest to my indentured servant debt if I don't magically get better at manual labour. As if this wasn't some big farce already. You've been a servant all your life? Yep, my parents were criminals, my parents were caught. My parents were indented to pay back their debt to society. Better than being exiled? Maybe. All I know is I never had a choice. I was born into it. My parents at least taught me to do sums. Promised I'd be able to work my way to freedom. If only they could see me now. They genuinely believed the system was fair. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now I still need to find that bloody shop. A numbat is a squirrel. I don't think they're anteater-y. They don't look like what I think of as an anteater. I mean, maybe a little bit. But they... I'll give you that it's more squirrel-shaped. And I wouldn't say anteater, aside from it has a somewhat pointy nose. Now, where is that bloody shop? It eats termites? Yeah, they're close enough to ants. Anteater in the sense of it literally eats ants, not anteater in the sense of it looks like an anteater. That thing's pooping out cube poos the size of hand grenades. Like an aardvark? A-A-D-V-A-R-K. Oh. Pencils, scrap, and a bag of dollars. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be a spelling Nazi. Childhood reference. Meriden ceded this land to the emus when it became clear there would be no winners in this war. That's also a reference to the Emu War. Nicely done. Scrap. Some mushrooms. Here's hunters and collectors. Ooh. Best not kick these over unless you want to visit from the monochrome blokes. And if you get a rock through the center, you owe Cole $200. It's the only war that has seen enemies on Australian land. He cups the side of his mouth and whispers, "Hey, any good with animals?" He gestures to you closer. "I've received reports some possums have made a home in Meriden, and I need a hand rounding them up so that I can release their sweet babies back into the bush before the cats or hunter gets to them. Why not just kill them? Any clue where I can find them?" "Not really, but they're not shy. From what I've heard, fellas have spotted them near the marketplace, the Flaming Galah, and the convoy." Print screen, because I'm worried that it won't actually memorize those locations in my journal. Okay. Done. How many? 2 or 3? I'm not asking you to capture a whole passel. Passel? What the hell is a passel? A large number or group of people or things, usually singular. A passel of children. Oh, I've never heard that before. Alright, I'll get to it. Now, you, I have your gun. I don't think it's a particularly Australian word, Celeste, just a word I've never seen before. Or I don't remember seeing before. They're missing some casings. I've got some here for you. Good enough. We gained a whole bunch of experience and a level. Thanks for doing the grunt work, mate. Next time, I'll have you look at something more exhilarating. Have you got any jobs? It's all on the board, mate. I appreciate your enthusiasm. What do you know about the Ripper? He snarls. I know he banded a bunch of sick fucks together to rape and murder their way across Western Australia. Riley's Rippers locked the entire town of Allenson in their homes and set the bloody place on fire. I even heard the Ripper himself would use a meat hook to slice open anyone who got in his way. You see that fucker? Kill him on the spot. You'll be single-handedly making the world a better place. Okay, we look at the board, but it doesn't look like there's anything new. So we could talk back to the lady, and then we have to talk back to the boss lady. Buy a steak for the hungry onlooker. I've found the black rectangle. I haven't found the rope. Capture the possums. Find the Ripper and bring him to justice. We're doing some learning. We are doing some learning. Okay, and it said that they were in... Seriously? Marketplace, the Flaming Galah, and our convoy. So, over to our convoy. Supposedly there's a possum somewhere here. I see the cat. We can give the cat another pet. Pat, 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 pat. Don't see no possum, though. The other places were the marketplace. And nominally we were supposed to buy meat for something? Yes, we met him on the way out, Racken. The man with the weird moustache and strange suit. Oh my gosh, we do have a map. Menzies, Governor's HQ, Hunters and Collectors, Flaming Galah. And it even has little dots showing people moving around on it? Yeah. There's one of the possums. Surely that's one of them. I didn't intend to engage the possum in combat. I guess we're going to club the possum into unconsciousness and then free the possum. Wink, wink. Yes. Wow. We club the possum once, then pat it, and it decides it wants to be our friend. That's a bit weird, but hey, it worked. So there was one here. That means maybe I missed the one. What was the other one? One near the Flaming Galah. So let's look for a possum. Perhaps here? Also, who are you? You're no one. Aha, Possum 2. Sprint at Possum. Pat Possum. Victory. Gained 10 experience. Sure. Oh, and we have our level up to do, don't we? Level up, level up. Some health. And keep working our way that up to 75 so that we get the next trigger bonus, which is 5% more chance to crit, and when we hit targets, it afflicts them with the marked condition, which we haven't had anything to do with, but there are things like have better chance to hit people that are marked, and so forth. Let's push that up towards 25 so that we can have better healing. Map, hunters and collectors, here. And whilst we're on our way, let's visit the Mackenzie's house and tell the lady that we cracked the whip for her slave. I mean, indentured servant. Numbat wasn't happy about your message. She clicks her tongue unimpressed. Numbat should be grateful I spoke to her before I laid out the proper punishment. But no matter, my precious time has been recovered. Do thank Governor Smith for tasking you with checking in on me. You seem a little stressed. This isn't easy, you know. Why does nobody in this town keep records of anything? Well, besides me. Without any official documentation, how am I supposed to forecast whether we should raise interest rates on indented servant debt or lower them? People are going to be angry either way, so I need to make sure the decision is worth the time I spend defending it. What's an indentured servant? An indentured servant is someone who's committed crimes against the meritorious populace and been sentenced to pay it back via community service labour. I pride myself in managing the debtors and their debts just like my grandmother did during the initial generation of debtors. What do you mean about initial generation? She looks at you thoughtfully. The first generation were the people who breached Meredith walls. We fended off the attack and took the survivors hostage. We put up notices demanding a ransom and sent out people to the closest settlements with the same information. When it became clear no one was going to rescue them, we put them to work. They had children, their children had children, and slowly but surely they repaid their debt to our fine society. Some deados have even earned their freedom. They stand as an inspiration to us all. Okay, so for a bit there I was suspicious, like, if they've had multiple generations, but if there are ones that have actually gone free, I'm somewhat less suspicious. Up to hunters and collectors. Say, here are your possums. Any news on my furry friends? But I have them. You said I only needed to do 2, game. No, they've changed their mind. Capture 3. Okay. Like, the quest giver man made it sound like I only need to do 2 of the 3. Alright then. If that isn't so, we need to look more closely for a possum here near our caravan. I still only see Kitty Cat. Let's make a save. Maybe they meant outside? Oh wow, there's a whole bunch more people over here. Hello, Grandma. We're not to be gawked at like animals. Oh, our inventory has little caged possums in it. It skitters in the cage, a phrase of where you're taking it and what you plan to do with it. The camp stretches off into the distance, tents blending with the haze of red dust kicked up by the relentless wind. Paper, daisies, pens, pencils, and a permanent marker. Isn't this the mum? Name's Claire. Don't think I introduced myself. I wanted to thank you for what you did back for us on Key Road. Will and I are doing all we can to make use of the future you gave us. I'm sorry about your husband. Thank you. Grateful to be at peace knowing we made it here. What do you have to say? We can trade with the boy. He has an extremely expensive hat. 2 shooting, 2 extra action points, and 2 movement. Where was the person I was meant to buy meat for? Buy a steak for the hungry onlooker. So near here? Buy a steak from Wilkins. Okay. Was it you that wanted a sandwich? What do you have in stock? Let's trade. Meat. He's got lamingtons! A delicious treat and national treasure. It is a sponge cake dipped in chocolate and rolled with desiccated coconut. Now each region has their own spin depending on available ingredients. National Lamington Day is still observed on 21st of July. Mark it on your calendar. But I don't actually see a... I don't see a steak in here. I see meat. Give him the meat. He can barely believe his good fortune. He takes the steak from you with a trembling hand, unable to utter even a word of thanks. He hurries away to devour his prize. We still need this third bloody possum. Hat possum. Okay. Take possums to man that wants to release possums. Hey, do you know if there's a way to have text spoken rather than having to read it? Would it be an access? There's voice acting for some stuff, but not for everything. Dundee's GG. But we can take a quick sec. Audio. Fairly standard volume controls. And other than that, you've only got it being in the text bubbles. So, you. Any news on our fairy friends? I've found your possums. Some things are voice acted dungeons, but not everything. So you want me to give you the possums. The 3 possums sit quietly in their cage. Cheers, thank you kindly for the follow, mate. Well, bloody done. These little ones are in your debt. He hands you some money. Here is your reward. I didn't actually catch how much money it said there, but it said a fair bit of experience. I'm gonna take these possums to greener pastures. $100? Well, that pays for 5 sandwiches to give to freeloaders. Although I might have only given him one of the 2 steaks that we bought. So maybe it's 10 sandwiches. Yeah, he only stole one of the steaks. Okay. Let's go talk to Her Mayeliness. Even when laws have been written down, they ought not always to remain unaltered. Okay. She pauses, giving the impression of a machine interrupted mid-task. You look like you have something urgent? I've helped those people. She nods in approval. Fantastic. I've already heard whispers of wondrous praise from the people of Meriden. I hope this will guarantee my position as governor. Tell Mick that if all goes well, Brookton may be our first priority after the election. Gained a level. Join the debate at somewhere. You'll join me at the Flaming Galah for the debate then. There was no hint of question in her voice. If you really intend to pursue a partnership with Meriden, or a permanent place here, you do well to see what it takes to maintain equilibrium in the shifting sands of public opinion. I guarantee it's more than your Mick Jones has ever had to face. Until then. So was that enough for another level up? It did make drummy drummy noises. Connor McCabe. He's in the middle of an impassioned plea, and it doesn't seem to be going well. Westonia itself is at stake. We need Meriden's help right now, or everyone will die. As one of our closest allies in trade, of course we don't want Westonia to fall, but you've requested we send over 100 people to follow you into the flames. It's just not feasible. Even Malcolm would have difficulty justifying such a preposterous ask, especially when it would leave us practically defenseless. Practically defenseless? I don't know what city Governor Smith is living in, but we here in Meriden know how to hold our own. A chorus of ragged cheers rises from the assembled crowd. If I was in charge, I'd send 200 people to help Westonia. And you wouldn't hear me whining about the lack of manpower while those poor starving wretches are huddled outside our walls, begging for a chance to prove themselves. I'd bloody well let them in. Damn, he's seeming more and more like a choice we should have made. Maybe I shouldn't have judged him on his shoddy introduction so much. She stares daggers at Hogan. Malcolm, do you think I enjoy turning people away? Do you think I do it for fun? She gives the crowd her best. Can you believe this shit look? I keep others out so that our community remains fed and safe. So, you can keep your cushy home. She turns to Connor. I regret the situation we find ourselves in. Truly I do. But if Meriden offers aid, any at all, you have to meet me halfway here. Angela, I can't. I can't believe I've wasted all this time. My family. All to try to get help from the saddest sacks of shit in Western Australia. You see my side, don't you? You've lost everything to these raiders. Help these so-called leaders to understand. I think you should head home. Maybe you have enough time to get your family safe. Salute him with your beer, but otherwise say nothing. His home is going to be destroyed. Appeal to her. What kind of influence do you think I have? Don't look at me. Do we stick our neck out for this guy? Oh, I want to help. But I also want to help our own city, right? And like, helping with his problem might mean she can't help with our problem. So let's, what influence do you think I have? He nods rightly. Too right, this is bigger than Brookton. I say we can help our Westonian friends, not by pulling our guards from the walls in an untenable defense, but by bringing Westonia's people inside our walls. He holds up a hand to forestall the muttering of the crowd. We can't do it for free, but perhaps if they'd if they would agree to a period of indentured servitude, like many of our own fine townsfolk have done, we could see our way to food and board for their people. We can draw up contracts in the morning. Help us, help you. He stares at Hogan for a moment, then looks around the rest of the crowd. I can't believe this. You would enslave the unborn children of people who owe you a debt and who want us to opt in. That's your offer of help. His face goes red, but his rebuttal is interrupted. You open your fucking mouth and I'll deck you. As in, punch you out. He points at you. I don't give a shit if Meriden is in a tough spot. They've still got their big walls and fancy homes. My people are going to die. You have to prove that we'll be better off with you than without you. Or you're asking Meriden to potentially sacrifice hundreds of people for your little town. How can you justify the human cost? I'm not going to go with that one. We'll have to say prove that you're worth it more. He stares at you. What about our old folks? What about our babies? They've got no use to Meriden, and you'd just let them die? We're not that cruel, mate. We'd look out for them. Just means the rest of the community will need to work a little harder to make up for the deficit. She holds up a hand, her expression strained. Slow down, please. I haven't endorsed Mr. Hogan's solution. We need to evaluate our resources and whether we can bear the strain of adding Westonia's population into the mix. His laughter hurts your ears. So we're stuck between idealists who thinks death is freedom from tyranny and money-grubbing arseholes who want to profit from our misery. 100 years of mutual assistance pissed away in 10 seconds. He clenches his fist. Your city's gonna burn and you'll have no one to blame but yourselves. I'm willing to hear your insults, but I won't let you threaten Meriden. She raises her hand and the guards step forward. You're going to have him arrested because he didn't like the terms you offered? Or this will definitely win you the election. People love a ruler who use force to get their way. I'm inclined to that one. Spoken like someone who's never had to make a difficult decision. Guards escort him elsewhere. He's free to leave the city or find a gutter to pass out in, as long as he's not anywhere near me. The fight has all but left him, poor Connor. But he still musters enough energy to laugh. I'd heard a lot about Meriden as a kid, you know, how it was this big, safe place where kids could run for ages and never reach the other side of town. But now I see it for what it really is, a breeding ground for the most heartless, gutless wonders I've ever had the misfortune to meet. He gestures at the crowd, his face a rictus grin. One day I hope you're in my shoes, watching a bunch of show ponies, useless show-offs, parade around the yard while everything you care about burns to the ground. He looks around, making eye contact with as many people as he can. And when you do, I'll laugh. I'll laugh my fucking ass off. Her shoulders visibly relax once Connor is out of sight. She addresses the crowd. I'm sorry you all had to see that. In the future, I'll encourage Mr. McCabe to bring his complaints to me in private. She claps her hands, jerking a couple more of the sodden drunks awake. Now, let's give the people what they want. Malcolm, would you like to select the topic, or would you prefer first right of rebuttal? Topic. That poor man's outburst is a direct result of you treating the Brookton survivors so favourably, whilst letting everyone else rot in the sun. Don't be so coy you tried to get us to spy for you. I mean, if we've decided to side against him, I'm gonna all in on that, I guess? We're nothing but grateful for the governor's courtesy. That sounds nice. Favourably, but you used us. That's just stupid. It's no fault. It's not our fault that no one in the line had our skills. That's possibly true, but also a bit too rude. We aren't planning on staying forever. We just need Meredith to help get us back on our feet, or quietly drink our beer. I'm gonna go with all in on against him. He splutters indignantly. I only asked you to gather some very important public information. He glares at Angela. Or information that would be public if our governor weren't a backstabbing, two-faced liar. Mick has been massaging his temples since Connor's departure. What's wrong with your people? All eyes turn to him. Westonia's fucked, with or without your help. And here you are, bickering like an old married couple who stayed together to raise the kids. A murmur of assent from the crowd surprises him, as much as it does Angela and Hogan. His next words are almost a plea. We came to you for help. Don't tell me this is what you're doing instead. Of course it's what they're doing. No, I think we remain silent here. You're absolutely right, Mick. We need to dispense with these petty arguments and address what I know our dear Hogan would most desperately love to address. One sec, sorry. Cough, cough, cough. She pauses for a moment, letting the suspense build. I've recovered a survivor from the plane crash and have learnt that he hails from Kalgoorlie. I've been speaking to him privately to learn of their plans and see if they know anything about the threats we currently face. Malcolm goes through several different expressions before he's able to speak, his skin tone changing from pale white to red to a sickly haunted green. What were you thinking? Kalgoorlie could obliterate us without a second thought, and you took one of them hostage? He sucks in a deep breath. We've got to find out what they want, and fast. You poor, narrow-minded buffoon. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio. Oh! The prisoner has escaped! What's Kalgoorlie? It's an inland city in Western Australia. It used to be, part of a mining, like a gold mine boom. Doo-doo-doo. There's, at least in a local sense, somewhat famously, a really, really long pipe. Like back when there was a lot less infrastructure here, they built a pipeline that would take water all the way out there to the minefields, because basically the people working the gold mines could afford to pay for a stupidly long water pipe. And it's so long that you can't do it with just a single pump. If you try to pump water that far, you vaporize it. So it has to dump it out and use a sequence of pumps. Hey, Angela. He opens up his hand to reveal a small metal sphere. It looks like the same one that you noticed in Angela's collection. This is for Westonia. It's deflected from the magician and hurt our friend.
Mick! Jess's voice rends the air a moment before all hell breaks loose. In the ensuing chaos, you hear her pitiful cry drowned out by screams and shouts as the terrified townsfolk flee the area. Mum! Sarah comes running, doctor's bag swinging wildly in her grip. She assesses the scene in an instant and grabs Jess in a quick hug. I'm here, sweetheart. Then she falls to her knees, working quickly but with steady hands to staunch the bleeding from Mick's head and ears. Alana arrives a moment later and stands off to the side, chewing on her thumbnail and throwing worried looks at her daughter. The radio at Sean's hip crackles to life. Outpost A to substation N. Who's firing off in restricted space? Over. There's a burst of static mixed with garbled words. Then the same voice wavers back in. Come get the bloody engineer then. I don't have time to nursemaid him. Julianne, out. The radio cuts off, leaving a ringing silence in its wake. We need to get him to the ambulance. Sarah gestures at John and Sean. Get the stretcher. We'll have to make 2 trips. She points at Adam with her thumb and goes back to stabilising Mick. Angela steps forward to speak, but Sarah silences her with a glare. Until this man's condition improves or he dies, you'll keep your tongue if you know what's good for you. She glances at DJ's horrified face. Governor. Angela bows her head and steps back next to Hogan, the two of them watching in silence while Mick's blood streams into the hungry soil.
It is the mark of an educated man to be able to entertain a thought without
The
accepting
morning
it. Aristotle.
dawns cold and still under a pall of otherworldly light. The sun, when it rises, struggles to break through the lambent haze that overlays the town, chasing at a low-lying mist with little enthusiasm. It feels like it should be impossible to breathe, yet air flows freely in and out of your lungs. Mick lies still as death under Sarah's watchful eye as the camp slowly awakes and takes stock of this new reality, everyone moving with the same cautious silence, as if you've all been caught sneaking into a funeral. Even Angela and Hogan, when they arrive, speak in low voices, with frequent glances at the watery sun hanging just above the horizon.
I trust you all slept well. Mad snorts and Angela ignores her. We must discuss today how we plan to address the recent change in our circumstances. Dr. Taylor, what is your prognosis for Mick and the... She pauses, flicking her eyes towards the ambulance. Magician. Sarah, she looks like she's still standing due only to willpower, but her voice is as strong as ever. Mick's got a brain bleed. Soft gasps and murmurs read her words. I'm doing what I can, but it isn't much. There's no telling when he'll wake up, if he wakes up, or whether he'll retain any of his previous cognitive function. She lifts one slender shoulder with an air of apology. Your magician friend should be fine. No swelling or bruising that I can see. Seems like he just overexerted himself. He'll need a few days to recover, but he should wake soon enough. Very well. We'll have to wait for answers. I understand. In the meantime, there's the matter of escaped Kalgoorlie agent to address. Connor is being held inside the bank. I suggest he be your first port of call when moving forwards. Are you kidding? His words split open the hushed silence. Mick is dying, and you want to talk about some bloke who you let escape? No one let him escape. Connor must have broken out. Or fucking oath, Sean, you've got some nerve. Angela, coming here, demanding favours when Mick's only injured. No, that's obviously... We'll go with that one. I'm not in the mood to argue semantics. She licks her lips. When she lowers her arm, she has regained her composure. Keeping Scott Measure locked inside the bank vault was a tactical oversight. If the device he provided to Connor was any indication of Kalgoorlie's power. Tactical oversight? Mate, it was bloody short-sighted. They could wipe us off the map in a split second if they knew we kidnapped and interrogated one of their own. I will remain silent. Sounds like you guys are in a real pickle, says DJ, his voice trembling with exhaustion, but he seems determined to speak. Mick needs help first, though. I'm sure Tjit would have something in Korda to help him somehow. He looks down at his hands at the traces of Mick's blood under his fingernails that he hasn't quite been able to scrub away. Sarah said it herself. She's tapped out, and so am I. It's time to call in the big guns. Sounds like quarters ago, then. I've heard Southern Cross has some tech still working from the before. She looks at Sarah, who nods. Could be worth a peek. Maybe. Have we all just forgotten about Cole? She glares at everyone. I love Mick like a dad, yeah? But Cole's been missing since the attack, and no one's done a fucking thing to find him. He could be hurt or dead in a ditch, and if he is dead, he'd want us to have his stuff. She crosses her arms. Send someone else for the medicine. The little man needs us. I want to hear from him. She takes a moment for it to sink in that her immaculately painted fingernail points at you. The line of succession is clear. Mick brought Blobber to me as someone who could solve my problems and get Brookton the help it needs. Otherwise, I will also accept the opinion of Dr. Taylor, despite my desire to capture Scott Measure and bring him to justice for this vicious attack. Mick must be our first priority. Measure can wait. Hogan looks like he wants to speak, but his arms are folded. You said they have medicine to help Mick and Korda. Sarah, what do you think? Where would we find Scott? What do we know about Cole? So, help save Cole. find the missing guy or help Mick? I'm inclined to say help Mick. I'll need to go with you, but they won't turn you away empty-handed. They'd better not, we don't have time to waste. Where would Scott be? DJ looks stricken. Angela breathes out as if a heavy weight has been lifted from her shoulders. You should look in Ardith. All the scum of Meriden washes up there sooner or later. We should at the very least bring him back here to remedy this unfortunate misunderstanding. And what do we know about Cole? Just that he would have been in touch, if he could have been. If only we got the radio. She slaps her forehead with the palm. Engineer. She points at the walkie-talkie still clipped to Sean's belt. That Julianne chick said she had an engineer. Wherever the fuck that is. It isn't much, but it's not nothing either. Not a lot of A's around. Arthur River's too far. Amory got swallowed by the desert. No one would call Ardith an outpost. Aldersnide? Well, let's go, El. Saddle 'em up. Enough. You've got a lot to get going with, and I want the campsite as quiet as possible at all times until Mick recovers, or he doesn't. Rest and wait. Resting allows your party to regain some health and recover from certain status effects. Some locations charge you to rest, and the amount of health restored can vary. Resting passes in 8 in-game hours. Waiting will pass however many hours it takes to change between day and night, but doesn't heal health. Some characters and quests might only appear at night. You can now access the overworld map. Okay, so whoever was asking earlier, I've forgotten your name, sorry, if there is a global map, and whether we just get access to that later, my prediction has come true. It looks like there is some sort of global map and we have gotten access to it later. We can now access the overworld map and begin exploring the Outback. Select the compass button or press 0 to open it. Oh, it was actually O for Outback? You must gather your mates before venturing forth. That sounds very D&D. Select 4 companions. I want to cancel. Don't leave just yet. Okay. The struggle between worker and machine. Rescue Cole from Alderside. Diary of a Seducer. Look for Scott Measure in Ardith. Talk to Connor McCabe inside the Meredith Bank. Or help Mick. Get medicine from Southern Cross. Travel to Corda with DJ in your party to get medicine. Nice. And I think that makes a very... Just as the world opens up, and we have our choice of which direction to go in, that makes a very sensible place to make our first cut. Mwahahaha, cliffhanger blobber evil.